Hello everyone and welcome to the 4th Easy Allies Hall of Greats Induction. You're in for a wild night. But we got some new rules to discuss. As Kyle Bossman is going to break down some new rules.
Sorry everyone, just Firefox is bragging about how it just upgraded on our chat monitor over there. We've had some technical difficulties tonight. Okay, we got 2 new rules. One voted for us by the group stream selection committee. This rule was called Show of Greatness. And what this rule stated is that 1 year after a game has been inducted into the Hall of Greats ceremony, we must do a Let's Play of it. And we talked it over as a group. We might do something other than Let's Plays with our inductees, but we're going to do this rule. We're going to make that happen. Kyle's making the mic peak. No. Oh, all right. Thank you, chat. Keep us honest about that stuff. So we're going to do something with it. But yeah, so look forward to the next Hall of Greats when those games have been in for 1 year. We're going to make something out of it. It's not going to be a full playthrough, but something. We'll do something very interesting. I really understood it as within a year. Well, chat, you got to read the language of the things you vote for. Rule number 2, our second new rule. Damiani, go over to the side cam. So we're going to place our votes differently this year. We are going to do it in secret. We are going to all go in the back and then one at a time place our votes into these paper bags and then count them all at the end. This is Damiani's rule, is that you have to count your own bag. And so if the game you submitted is like associated with that bag, you have to count through the amounts of werehog chips that are placed inside of your bag. Yeah, it is very cruel. That's a Damiani rule. Yeah, it is very cruel. And those are the 2 new rules. One thing we want to focus on this time is the cases made for games. Not necessarily that we just pick our favorites, but that game was well defended and that game was well spoken for. Meaning, if Damiani brings a trailer for a 3DS version of a game and then says we're not talking about the 3DS version, that's weak. That's that should hurt against that game.
Super Mario 64 controls. The argument was poor. I'm still bitter. Poor argument. Super Mario 64 is nostalgic.
Damiani's shooting daggers.
So,
Yeah.
whoa!
I tried to catch it.
No more throwing. All right, that's a yellow card. No more throwing for the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Can you imagine red card? You're banned.
Yeah, you're banned from the Hall of Greats.
I hope your game. That's not a factor then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
So here's what we do. We each make a 5-minute speech for a game that we think belongs into the Hall of Greats. Then we must have a 5-minute cross-examination. Thank you, Ben. Where the rest of the allies attack that game, even if we love that game.
And the person.
Yeah, we attack that game and that person for 5 minutes to make sure that any game that gets into the Hall of Greats has earned it, deserves to be in there. Because no game gets a free ride into the Hall of Greats.
Oh, no. If it's made by Nintendo, it does.
Okay, great.
That's the thing. I love Super Mario 64, but I felt like it kind of got a free pass.
Okay. Probably not the time to bring that up. But,
Wait, we're
Kyle's new rule. You can go back and
It's
challenge.
because we already know the arguments and we could make them ourselves.
all right. That game.
Hubert doesn't like
Also,
it.
only 2 people brought it.
2 people did bring that game that time. Yeah.
There was a
Hubert, will
guaranteed
you
win.
use your cross-examination time to talk about Mario 64?
Yes.
And so, by random tarot card, we will choose who will be the first to speak
Fates!
of a potential inductee. Yeah, Jones, are you ready? How you feeling, man?
Number 1 will be Michael.
I knew it was going to be me.
Can't wait for this nostalgia game.
Okay. Ian, do you have a timer?
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Ready on time.
Had to get his thing set up.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
His
He has
thing's
a thing?
complicated.
Yeah, I've actually got a thing over here.
Okay. Oh, he's got a setup. It was decided a while ago by vote that we will allow audio and visual enhancements in this 5-minute speech.
Oh, Bray, thank you for the sub.
Hey, Sophie. Oh, I love you.
So we're allowed to do videos. We're allowed to play games, apparently. This is...
The TV has stopped being a thing? What happened? There
I'm
it is.
trying
We're
to
back.
load the XSplit or
Oh.
Elgato. Here it should be up now.
Redemption, thanks for subbing.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for resubbing.
Okay, here we go.
All right, Hubert, tell
Wait.
me
Oh,
when you
Thanos.
want your time to begin.
When I click the game.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when do you want me to go to the shot with the game? And
Right now.
You can go right now.
All right.
Right now.
But then when Ian will
As soon
start the
as you
clock.
click go, I'll start the clock.
Yeah.
And you guys want to see it, or you can see it on the TV. So you
Yeah,
can see
it might be a little loud. We might get echoey.
We'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's let
Jones,
them
are you ready
tell
to
us.
turn that
I
down in
turned it
case?
down. Well, you shouldn't be listening to my speakers because they're delayed.
Yeah.
So I turned mine down.
Okay.
Will they be delayed for videos too?
No, they're synced on theirs.
Oh, okay.
It's just you guys should only listen to the TV.
No, but for us
Yeah.
later,
Yes. Yes.
it'll be synced?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're
Mark
ready.
Zone subbing. Thank you.
Are we set?
We're set.
I'm ready.
Go.
Okay. My game. I guess you can start now because I'm going to start talking.
Oh,
Okay, right now. Okay.
all right.
My game is the perfect combination of nostalgia and it holds up.
Oh, yes.
We can. It is the pinnacle of an entire genre, the beat 'em up genre. It is the best beat 'em up game ever made, and it also has one of, if not the greatest soundtracks in video game history. Streets of Rage 2. So, this up button is botched. The up button's botched. Here we, no. I think it's because I'm on player 2.
I'm
No,
uncomfortable.
No. unplug the controller
Clock's
from the Wii
ticking.
remote. No, Hubert. Unplug the
yeah,
controller from the
yeah.
Wii
Clock's
remote
ticking.
and then
just
plug it
try
back
the
in.
Wii
Does the clock count?
Yeah.
Shouldn't
So
the
you
clock
probably were holding a direction down.
Clock counts.
Now go.
Clock
man,
counts.
that's messed
It's
up, dude.
botched.
But it's not
No.
Hubert's fault.
Nope.
Oh, wait, it'll only let you do two because there are two controllers?
Hold down the home button.
2 players?
Okay.
What do I do?
All right, 2 players. Give me a
Who is-
controller. Give me the other controller. Let's
It
do
won't
this.
work. It doesn't
It won't
work.
work.
Oh, okay.
It won't work.
We just don't make any sense.
Here, just make the case, man.
Just
Yeah.
make the case.
Just make the case.
Alright, Streets of Rage 2, would have liked to have played it, hear that jamming soundtrack.
Play it, the other player will just die.
So,
Be able to walk.
it, like, the biggest thing I want to make is, or the point I want to make is that this game still holds up today, and I think that's really important for a lot of these older games, especially that we bring to the Hall of Greats, is to really distance ourselves from the nostalgia and factor in on, is it good in 2017? Does it actually hold up? And Streets of Rage 2 definitely does. Controls are great, music's great, all the stages. There's even like a really good narrative that ties into Streets of Rage 1 and later in Streets of Rage 3. And another thing is, there are so many games, like, I think of Metal Gear Solid, one of my favorite games of all time, but it's like, I don't always want to play Metal Gear Solid. It's such an intense, time-consuming game. It's a game that, I'll try to go back to every couple years because it's you can't just sit down and play it. Streets of Rage 2 is a game that anyone can play at any time. At any point in your life, you can play Streets of Rage 2 alone, with a friend, with multiple friends. It's a co-op game, and you will have a blast playing it. Yes, we are in. All right. Again, the soundtrack just speaks for itself. One of the greatest soundtracks. Beautiful visuals, still holds up. Sick combos, sick headbutts, Streets of Rage. And again, I really like all the stages. There's a good variety of stages. You go from like back alley streets to the theme park. There's really good bosses, and it's just hard. It's hard not to think about all of these things when you're thinking about Streets of Rage. It's a game that just stays with you. It's got a pace. It's got a momentum. There's even like hidden moves. Like this one, they don't really tell you how to do, but you can figure it out. There's even like I don't know how to do on this control, but there's like a back punch you can do. You can land on your feet. So there's like these little intricacies that playing it over the years you kind of figure out. Like I never knew you could land on your feet when some of the bosses throw you. It's got really good weapons. I really hope we get to the pipe here really soon, because the sound effects also really hold up. And again, being able to play this game alone or with a friend at any time. I don't know how many times in my life Brad Ellis has come to my house and played this game with me. Like some of the best memories of my entire life. And that's something we did when we were 10 years old to something we can do today and still have just as much fun as we did back then. And the characters with the yellow jacket, iconic. Iconic thug right here. Like quintessential beat 'em up thug right here. He's got his mohawk. And just listen to this sickening thud. One of my favorite soundtracks in video game history. And that's really all I've got to say about Streets of Rage. Again, just the soundtrack will speak for itself here. That's it. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my time playing this.
Time.
Damn it. All right.
I want to give a special commendation to Bloodworth.
Thank you, Bloodworth.
Yeah,
the
great
man.
blood, great
Yes. Yes.
All right. Cross-examination begins at first question.
Ooh, Don's ready to go.
One thing I also love about Street one thing I love that you didn't mention about the level, how you progress through a level. It's not just like now you're on a street, now you're on a harbor or whatever. You start on the street, you go through a restaurant, through an arcade, into a back alley. You go like, it's like this whole progression in each level.
My favorite stage is the baseball stage.
Yes.
And you can see the amusement park in the background, which was the stage before. Just that attention to detail.
Does the baseball
amusement
stage
park.
have the elevator?
Yeah, it goes down. Yeah.
All right.
You start outside the amusement park, then you go inside, then you go on a ride, then you go back out. It's like you go through the entire amusement park. You're at the baseball stadium, you see the amusement park. Lovely.
Yeah.
Huber.
Yes.
So, cannot deny Streets of Rage 2, one of the best beat-em-ups of all time.
Yeah.
When I think of other great beat-em-ups, I think of Turtles in Time, I think of Final Fight, I think of these games that are also very deeply beloved, where the objective is very similar, there's sort of a similar feel to them. Why would you nominate Streets of Rage 2 over these other classic beat-em-ups that get just as much love?
So I think I said it a bunch of times, the music, obviously, is such a high point. Turtles in Time has a couple good tracks, but I really don't think of the music when I think of like Final Fight or Double Dragon. And it's the vibes, as Kyle would like to say. It's the vibes, the melancholic nature of Streets of Rage. There's like an underlying sadness to this game about the streets being corrupted by thugs and people just trying to fight back against the system and retake the city. That's what it's all about. There's a corruption from the very top. And that's explored in 1, 2, and 3 because a couple of the characters are cops. And then, corruption.
Who's a cop?
Axel and Blaze are both cops.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very short, right, Huber?
Yeah, you can beat this in a couple hours. Absolutely.
Couple hours.
Couple hours.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You've seen everything there is to see.
But does every game need to be 100 hours for it to be good? I mean,
It's gotta be longer than 2.
I think a couple hours is its strength, because I was saying about Metal Gear Solid is this is a game that I can pick up anytime at any point and be content with that playthrough. And I think that is valuable and something missing in this day and age as we consume game after game after game and move on to game to game to game, especially now as games are getting longer and more involved.
Damiani's got something.
You said that you just pick this up and be content no matter who you are.
Yeah.
Bradley Ellis, character witness.
Oh,
Huber referenced that you guys used to play all the time. Each and every time you picked up that controller with Huber, was it an amazing experience? Was it just as Huber said?
It's always fun, but I'm never as enthusiastic about it as Huber. It's fun playing, but it's fun. But I don't know if I go to Huber and say, let's play Streets of Rage 2.
No.
It's me doing the favor.
Yeah.
Huber, I have another question.
Yeah.
So it's a burden, really.
I played so much Streets of Rage 1 and 2 as a kid, and I loved them to this day. And I definitely didn't know like all of the combos or anything, so I'll totally admit that. But I definitely remember in both Streets of Rage 1 and 2, when I got to the end of the game, there was always like an enemy or a boss I would reach where it kind of felt like, okay, it's just, I get up, it knocks me down, I get up, it knocks me down. I don't really feel like I'm learning here. I feel like I just kind of am dying and kind of brute forcing my way through it. It didn't feel like as satisfying as the earlier parts where it felt like I really had a chance. There was definitely like some cheapness there. Do you think that's a concern?
That's a really fair point. I think there are a couple moments where that happens, like the wrestling boss in stage 4 can be pretty annoying, as he has some some iframes. But on the other hand, that's actually really cool for me because I've beaten this game 100 times. Sometimes, like the rare occasion, I will die and not succeed and lose the game, which I think is something cool to be able to go into this game and still have stakes somewhat, even though like a boss or two are cheap. It's about like setting up your health and your lives and perfecting everywhere else to kind of get through those moments.
So cheap bosses, combos you can't remember.
No,
It seems like there's a lot of like things you have to kind of like allow for in this game.
No. You can get through without knowing any of the like landing on your feet. That's a valuable skill. Sure, you might want to look that one up, but like it's still punch, jump, pick up, grab, and special move.
Friendly fire too.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you can turn it on or off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that the special moves take away health. I think that's really good design.
Time.
Ooh.
Okay.
Sure. All right. Next up.
Wait. So how do you want to handle when you get to write the stuff in the bags?
You want me to do that now?
Wait.
I was just
Just
asking
so you
when
remember.
wanna
I was
do
just
that.
gonna do it like at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone just telling you your
we'll
game
just
at the
tell
end.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, I don't know why I'm yawning so much.
Done.
Ooh, here we go.
And so what? Do you have a video?
Yes.
We're gonna kill
me
the
a sec.
mics.
Wait,
during
no,
videos.
but my video is.
Are
only
we killing the
visual.
mic?
Oh,
I
okay.
want to see
I'm
reactions.
gonna speak underneath my video.
Keep
Damiani.
talking over his video. My video has sound, so we can kill the mics for mine.
Okay.
One
Well,
other
your video
thing I
stuff
just want to
on.
say about Streets of Rage. Anyone that
No.
wants-
That's against the rules.
I can't say something
Oh, the
before we
3DS
start
thing?
my presentation.
The 3DS thing?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can do that.
Is that if you haven't gotten a chance to play it, the 3DS version is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I like Kevin. Thank you for the sub.
That's a yellow card though, Don.
Switch
I
your time.
didn't start my presentation.
Hubert had
Pushing
finished
it.
his. Hubert had finished his.
Kyle like just starts tackling us.
That's a violation. No.
We have to kill mics for stuff with sound, otherwise it'll just double up on the mic.
Yeah, you'll hear it. For us to hear it, it'd be too loud for the mics. That it'd be echoey.
I wouldn't drink it.
That's poison.
Yeah, I would toss it.
Okay, so you want me to kill the mics and I play Don's
open
video?
poison.
No,
okay.
mine.
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
responding
just-
to it.
Video, and I'll signal
when
you
they sound.
when I want you to start it.
Take it on.
Okay, so you don't want me to start the video until you signal me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can leave.
And what?
Oh, there's no audio?
So you can just keep I'm gonna speak under it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let me
We
just...
need to be able to see his video too on that.
Yeah, I will get that. As soon as I switch over to scene, I'll full screen
Okay.
or on the projector. You won't see chat anymore.
Brandon,
Actually, I
just
can
you
just,
make a hall of greats in dreams.
I can just do
Sure.
this right now. Oh, you'll
That'd
see
be
what
great.
it
Like a
is.
little like pedestal for every game. Yeah.
All
That'd
right.
be awesome.
Yeah, you could just switch it now if you want.
Oh, as soon as he says the game name, I'll put it on there.
Can you
So it'll be ready
let
to
me
go.
know when we're about 2.5 minutes?
Yeah, I'll show
Okay.
you. 2.5 minutes left or in?
Either way.
Wait, it's the
same.
same. It's the same.
Whichever comes
It's
first.
the same.
Whichever comes first.
Look, I'm not a scientist. You ready? I'll start when you start.
Okay. Ready, everybody?
Yes.
Sorry, ready.
Okay. So, here we go. Go. Okay. As a human being, creative expression is one of the most fulfilling things we can experience, okay? That's one of the reasons I think that we love games so much. We love movies, but the thing that makes games so special is we have some amount of our own creativity that we can interject into the experience, okay? Level editor games go beyond, one step beyond, because they allow us to actually create the world and play in the world, okay? Something I realized when I went to PSX just the other day, they had a Dreams presentation as center stage in the middle of the floor, and the way the presentation was set up was a man was on stage and he had a giant projection screen behind him, and the audience was filled with the most comfortable beanbag chairs I've ever sat in my life. Whole bunch of them for everyone to relax in, and the whole situation they created was the most comfortable environment for the audience to sit there and relax and not get stressed out, because they need to start introducing this learning curve that can be really intimidating that comes with any level editing type game, right? And this is what we're nervous about with Dreams. We know there's a certain amount of time commitment we're gonna have to put into actually learning the game and to be able to appreciate it. Okay, so what happens, so now that's the biggest obstacle that these games that are based on level editing as the core mechanic have. That's one of the biggest obstacles. So now, what happens when you are handed a Wii U gamepad and Super Mario Maker? I'll tell you what happens. You need zero instruction. You just know what to do. Now, how do you know this? Because Super Mario has a very special place on this earth. It has the benefit of being able to have a foundation has been laid in the mind of almost every human being on this planet, that they understand what Mario is. They understand the platforming elements. Not only that, but these elements permeate games all the way to today, so that, you know, even a child that was born 10 years ago or whatever it still understands the principles that Mario brought along, and that's what was such a big benefit to this game being successful. Not only that, the gamepad, if this was a game that launched with the Wii U very well could have been on a completely different course. It may have been a very successful system. Thank you, Kyle. And all right, great. So why is that? Because the interaction with the gamepad and the stylus and the way this game is absolutely the most perfect marriage that's ever happened between a game and a controller, okay? Just like when you're a child drawing out levels on paper, this is essentially what you get to do in this game. You just get to think something and draw it and erase it, and everything is completely intuitive, okay? Let's see here. We're at 3 minutes. Let me figure out what I need to skip here. All right. So the game. What else is so special about this game? Why it's successful? It's fun to play alone, but it's so fun to play together. It created in a time when co-op is such a competitive and often not cooperative experience naturally. This game brings about a natural kind of cooperative play where even if you're trying to give your friends a challenge, ultimately, even after they've been punished with your level, you come together in this kind of unified way and you figure out, you know, how to improve or change or do something different the next time. And that just happens naturally because of the kind of gameplay. And not only that, but it's accessible to almost all ages and all level of people. So you don't need to study tutorial videos for 12 hours. You don't have to have a mastery over complicated control interface. You can be a child. You can be a senior citizen. You can come from many different walks of life. That's what happened with this game. It was accessible. And not only that, it brought them in. You can be someone that isn't naturally inclined to enjoy creation and level editor type games. Someone like Huber, who's admitted many times it's just not his cup of tea. It's not for many people. But even him, the things when we designed a level together is like incredible, the stuff he was coming up with. And I'm pretty sure he was having a good time. It seemed like he was.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, it's accessible to almost anyone, but the level of depth is extreme, okay? How do I know this? There's transcendent creations on YouTube. Some of the things people created with these musical levels, that is a whole domino effect of things, the most elaborate thing you could ever conceive of to create musical melodies and songs. Kyle Bossman, right back there, created like a Mega Man 2 style robot boss in one of his levels. That was just incredible to think that you'd be able to do with such a limited amount of assets. Okay, so the hardest thing about making a level editor game, central component, is very hard to succeed at. And you need to be able to jump between creation and testing. It has to be an immediate thing, and it needs to be fun. Testing it and editing must be fun. And that's what this is.
Good job, John. Good job.
Now we have to skip a few points.
Woo, Donnie.
All right.
So chat did call a yellow card on me. You should not be able to shout yeah during
Yeah, it's a
someone's
yellow
speech.
card.
I got a yellow card.
Okay.
I'll take
Yellow
it.
card. Yellow card.
If you get a red card, you lose a vote on your game.
A little late for
Red
that.
card.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not late for that, Jones. That's
All right.
perfect.
Okay.
That's canon now.
Red card, you'd have to do
Yeah.
something pretty terrible, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
No, 2 yellow cards is a red.
Oh.
All
Or
right.
one crazy
All right.
number.
So make Kyle happy, everybody.
Who's got, please, Kyle.
Attack.
Who's got,
I have a rebuttal.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I can only make Mario games. So I can't make a racing game. I can't maybe explore the action genre. This is very, and that this is something that is very different from Mario Maker from like the majority of other world creation games. Is that I'm making the best I can do in any situation is a platformer.
Well, not necessarily just the I mean, you could do other creative things, but yes, you are correct, Jones. There are certain limitations to what you can create in terms of style of game. It's not like Trials or something else like that, where you can create almost anything. But there has to be, the most immediate thing a level editor has to have is it has to have some core game mechanics that exist that then you can manipulate from there. And Super Mario Maker has something that almost everyone can understand and that also appeals to almost everyone. So I don't know how else you can get around that other than, without getting a complex level editor that you need to spend. I mean, even with Super Mario Maker, there are many things you could do that you need to take tutorials, I guess, to understand.
Don, you spent a long time in your speech explaining why this game is better than Dreams, because Dreams has to be over-explained.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's better. I would say it deserves to be in the Hall of Greats. Like, I would say if you put Trials, Fusion, or Evolution up against Super Mario Maker, technically they're better games. That doesn't mean all three of them don't deserve to be in the Hall of Greats. I mean, it's those are better level editors. You could argue, but the reason Super Mario Maker is the best, I guess you could say, is just because of the accessibility to everyone.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to find any flaws in Mario Maker. I am someone who is terrible at creation, and the times that I did try to create levels, I did so very easily.
It's time to drop the bomb, then.
Yes.
Me versus Dead.
Can't play it anymore.
Me versus Dead, Don. And so a huge part of this game and what made this game great is just gone. How do you respond?
Well,
I thought you'd have something prepared. I thought you'd have something prepared for this.
Kyle, you monster!
You bully.
It's just that's what we're supposed to
I
do.
know. That's a good point.
But sometimes it goes too far.
it's not gone, Kyle, because
Okay.
you have it on your machine. You have a couch in your house, and you could always invite some friends over.
That's true, because that was where you're making the case. It's still a good co-op game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don, I've got a question.
Your creations are not lost. You just can't share them over the same amount of distance, I guess.
I love Mario Maker, and I thought you made a great point. But
Yeah.
there was something that you didn't bring up that I always had a problem with Mario Maker,
Yeah.
and that was curation, basically. Where I was just very interested in playing people's crazy levels, and I felt like it was always hit or miss for me. Where like I would go and I'd be like, okay, what are the best rated levels? And a lot of it was just the, all right, stand here and go on a ride kind of thing. And so I remember a lot of my times playing Mario Maker, it just felt like really hit and miss. Like I would try out a level, I wouldn't like it, and I just wish there were more ways to filter through what people had created in Mario Maker. Did you struggle with that at all?
I did, and that's a struggle that definitely exists for like all level editor games where you're sharing the creations. It's a really hard thing for people to create a system that properly filters things so that, I mean, this did, I think, one of the better jobs though, where you're able to, easily cross-reference, you find someone that's a creator you like, it'd be easy to play their other tracks, and it was fairly easy to get a sense. And the thing is that it all worked so fast in terms of like loading. That was one of the things. Like you could try a level immediately, and you don't like it, you immediately get out. Where a lot of other level editor games, it's a whole different thing. You download the thing. It's just more. Even a process that takes 15 seconds can seem like a lot when you're doing something like that. If it's a level you just want to load up and then you don't even like. So although it wasn't perfect, I think it did one of the better jobs out of the other ones that have done the similar thing.
Switch.
What about, Don, about having to unlock the parts and things being kind of hidden away to really get into it?
Yeah, when I first got the game, I remember I thought that was ridiculous. They do a thing where all of the assets, which even all the assets are somewhat limited. They're not everything in the Mario game. But the thing is it ended up being a good thing because it makes you do more with less, and then you quickly get more.
Chat has confirmed that you can still share levels. You just can't comment on them with Miiverse.
Oh!
Boom!
Yeah.
Wow.
It's okay, Don.
Yeah.
Don wins!
Don wins.
Don wins!
Don is one of the greats.
Thank you.
Wait, can I bring Don as an entry for next one?
Too OP.
Red card.
Alright, I'll see you guys.
All right, ready?
Yes.
The next presenter will be
Kyle
Boston, ladies and gentlemen.
Good luck, Kyle.
Ooh, got the script.
Good luck.
Do you have any visual aids?
It was ominous.
For real.
Just my speech.
It's nerve-wracking.
It is.
Yeah.
My nerves are racked.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Frayed.
My nerves are racked.
Just think of puddle up.
All the grades.
We gotta go to all the grades.
Okay.
Mario 64. It's really bad control.
Yeah, Hubert. No Mario 60. I can't debate. It's just you didn't. Okay.
Mario Odyssey controls better. So does Galaxy.
Are we good, actually?
We're good.
Okay. The game I'm presenting today will not surprise you. Before I begin, I ask that you hear my words. I ask that for 4 minutes and 50 seconds you toss out your preconceived notions. Forget the spin-offs, commercials, cards, anime, Mewtwo on the cover of Time magazine. I'm presenting Pokemon Red and Blue to you because I believe it to be one of the greatest games ever made. And I'm going to attempt to convey that to you on the basis of one of this game's greatest strengths, a simple freedom. One of the very first things you do in Pokemon Red and Blue is choose between 3 starting Pokemon: Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. This is a simple freedom. Since you're picking from one of 3 options, you're picking from one of 3 options, but from that point forward, your adventure through this game is your own. This Pokemon is now your freedom. You grew up in a town you could never leave, because if you did, you'd be attacked the moment you stepped into the tall grass. But now that you have a Pokemon, you have the freedom to go anywhere. A Pokemon that you gave a name to, or chose not to. And this game is about exploring. I do want to talk about the point of Pokemon Red and Blue, because it's not gotta catch 'em all. That phrase never appears in this game. This is why I ask you to drop your preconceived notions. This is a game. It's a game about travel, overcoming trials, and relying on Pokemon to do that. And while the story and events are mostly linear, you are rewarded for running wild, checking behind corners, rummaging through trash, and charging into grass you're not ready for yet. The progression is predetermined, but you are given the simple freedom to do what you want along the way. There's a simple freedom to the combat. It's simple. Your Pokemon can only learn 4 moves at a time, that is true. But you choose them. They can learn new, more powerful, or more sneaky moves through leveling up, or through items you buy or find in hidden corners. The game can be hard, or it can be easy if you choose to grind in grass for hours. You can scour the world for interesting party members, or you can choose to level up Charizard so much he'll take down the Elite Four alone. You can evolve Haunter into Gengar just by trading him to a friend. Pokemon Red and Blue is full of simple freedoms. 150 Pokemon is a lot to choose from, but it isn't too many. That's a simple freedom. Getting an impossibly expensive bicycle for free and doubling your travel speed is a simple freedom. Being allowed to go the wrong way, being allowed to make mistakes in a video game is a simple freedom. Later games would refine certain elements, like the battle system, refine stats, EVs, IVs, babies, natures, Z moves, mega evolutions, licky licky. They have epic stories about saving the planet, helping an ancient giant man cope with his centuries of grief, and resolving some family drama in dimensional ultra holes. They have super fun optional elements like berry farming, battle towers, beauty pageants, body rubbing, and Bidoof grooming. But more and more, these iterations seem to lose the spirit of the simple freedom. Pokemon Red and Blue is about a kid on an adventure. Your only weapons are your Pokemon, and your only friends are your Pokemon. And that is a beautiful thing. Thank you.
Still got time left.
Nice.
Do you think somebody in 2017 can complete Pokemon Red and Blue without consulting the internet?
Yes. Somebody in 2016 could do it just asking a friend.
It's true. But if they don't have a friend, if they really, just comparing it to other video games that are released today, like there is a barrier to entry. There is compared to other games that released at the time, that game can get confusing.
Compared to games released today, yes. Jones, there are parts of this game that are intentionally obtuse, that they keep a secret because they want you to share. It's a game built around sharing, and so parts of the progression even are weird and hard to figure out where you want to go. It's all intentional. It's a game about sharing information with other people. It'd be easy with the internet. It'd be more fun with other humans.
Kyle
Yes.
talked about the need for trading Pokemon, especially to evolve some Pokemon.
Yes.
I want you to explain the process on the Pokemon Red and Blue version of how you actually do that. And do you still think today in 2017 using the transfer cable is still an enjoyable experience?
I like how transfer cable feels, Damiani. I like slipping it into my chunky old Game Boy. But if you're playing this on a 3DS today, you don't need that. You don't worry about it.
Thought I got in trouble for bringing up other versions, Kyle. Don't we have to stick to the original Game Boy versions?
We don't have to. You can stick with any version.
Okay, new rule. Okay.
Okay.
Kyle.
Yes.
So my biggest problem with Pokemon always is how easy the combat is. How I can take my starting Pokemon and a couple other Pokemon and just steamroll through every single encounter by mashing A. Do you think that's a problem? Am I misremembering how easy Pokemon is in terms of combat?
You're maybe misremembering because you grinded a bunch. Because the thing is, it's not that easy to steamroll through the game. If you're speedrunning, it's hard. But, yeah, if you're putting time into it, if you're hanging out in caves and fighting every Pokemon you run up against, your Pokemon are going to be beefy, as Jones's were.
I mean, that word has come up a few times here, grinding.
Grinding will come up in any RPG we talk about.
Sure, except the good ones?
No. Even my favorite RPGs were grinding in.
Okay. But I mean, shouldn't the game be paced so that you don't have to just sit in one place and grind it out?
That's what I'm saying. If you don't, you're going to have a harder, more difficult game and have more fun with the combat.
Right, okay. So you're positioning it as a choice.
Yes.
Alright.
A simple freedom, if you will.
Oh, I see.
Kyle,
Yes.
at first blush, when you bring up Pokemon Red and Blue, I am just filled with love, and everything that you're saying is ringing true to me. But then I really think about it, and I think about entire sections of that game that are just not fun to play, such as Zubat Caves, where it's not fun fighting these monsters. They pose no challenge. They're constantly showing up. It is just aggravating, and I get really sad. How am I experiencing simple freedom when I'm running into a Zubat every 5 steps?
There's an item called Repel that you could buy. You could use your money at a store. Oh, thank you, chat. You're on top of it, too. Yeah. You can buy Repels, and Repels will repel random Pokemon for a certain amount of steps that you take. And so if you choose... A simple freedom. You can choose not to fight those Zubats.
A simple freedom.
Yep.
Well countered.
Kyle.
Yes, Damiani.
I'm curious why you chose Red and Blue over Gold and Superior Silver.
It's a fantastic question, Damiani.
Because,
Go
as
ahead.
you know, to summarize, you get to go through Pokemon 1's region in there.
Yeah.
And that finale, the showdown with Red.
Yes.
Why would you pick Red and Blue over that?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah, why?
Because I think of Pokemon Red and Blue as the simplest version of this kind of game. And even when you get to Gold and Silver, you're complicating it. You're complicating it with Lugia and Ho-Oh being part of the story. You're complicating it with babies and berries. Just being able to breed really gets Pokemon complicated. I know that's a feature that people like, but the thing that I'm talking about, the simple freedom, but just this raw version of this adventure, of a kid on an adventure.
So Pokemon has never been better than Red and Blue.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I want to know. Culmination of Pokemon is Red and Blue. It's only gotten worse since then.
Yeah.
For every Pokemon ever released.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's time.
Good stuff, Kyle.
Nice job, dude.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Good presentation.
The next up will be
Nervous.
Daniel Bloodworth.
Good luck, Blood.
All right.
Good luck, Blood.
Give him what
Give me
for,
one sec,
Blood.
Yeah. Well, for mine, we'll
I have
move to
everything
mine.
muted, so I'm
beginning?
just gonna get your thing.
Oh,
queued
you
up.
have a video.
No, he has a song. Music.
Oh, Need for Speed Payback. Alright,
So-
indicate to me when you want me to start.
You don't need to time it because it's timed out, right?
Oh,
Whoa.
So it's just about timing.
You can sit
Okay,
this
so
one out,
you
Ian.
just want me to hit
Is it
play
Witcher
and
3
tell
time?
you to go?
You can just
Getting all my votes.
when you hit play, you can
That's a good one.
mute the mic.
You're not talking? Okay,
Oh.
here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go, chat. Let me get the level audio up for this baby.
What?
Induction.
Muting you all now.
at the end.
Some good music.
Journey.
I'm not clapping for that.
That was so. I'm clapping because that was a bold move.
Bold move.
Yeah, I agree.
I saw the
Bold
whole
move,
game
Colin.
in my brain. It was excellent.
Don and Huber had their eyes closed. I
Yeah.
think the whole time.
I was soaking it in.
All right, I'll start the timer when someone. I'll just go. All right, so beautiful soundtrack. I highly respect the power play that just happened, and like the zen and the artistry of presenting a game with no words or talking without any words or talking. Love that. But video games has got visuals. They've got controls. They've got a story. They've got emotional arc. And do you think that Journey hits on all of those? Do you think that?
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Because for me, like I was.
But it is also a game without talking.
Right. But, like, getting there, obviously the journey is its own reward, So the ending isn't some big thing.
Super Mario Maker is a game without talking. Don didn't just...
Oh my god,
Actually,
that's
there
a
is-
mind reader.
There is talking in Mario Maker, I'm pretty sure.
That was creepy.
Is there a little character that starts telling you little things?
I'm steamed.
I'm steamed. Talk about it.
Talk about it, Kyle. Why are you steamed?
You steamed about the game or the presentation?
I'm steamed about that presentation.
I thought you were countering him with silence
But you
for a
need to
second.
tell us why this game stacks up to Ocarina of Time.
I mean,
Why?
that's on him,
Why does it stack up?
Because it's a timeless game.
What makes it timeless?
It's presentation, it's music, it's a combination of all of this different art forms, as well as things that you can only get in video games, as well as an interaction with people that you can only get in video games.
When Huber talked about Streets of Rage 2, he said, which is a game with a runtime similar to Journey, he said that I'm still discovering new things. There are still moves that I didn't know. There's still some meta here that I found out later. I would be surprised if there's something that I don't know about Journey that I think I absorbed just through a couple of playthroughs. Do you think that's okay, or do you think it in and of itself maybe would be a little simpler than some of the games we should probably put into the Hall of Greats first before Journey? I think Journey should be in there. Maybe not in the first year or the second year of the Hall of Greats. But compared to, some of these, I know you are one who enjoys big games. I'm surprised for you to bring just something you're going to be done with in a couple hours. I mean, obviously something that will stay with you for a while, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think it is that impact, and yeah, I think, I think the complexities of Streets of Rage 2 might be slightly overstated. I think they're probably the
You didn't have to bring
thing.
that into this.
That's what he said.
Well,
is that
Jones
it's like way more complex.
He misquoted me. I
Yeah.
learned new moves years later down the line when I replayed it.
Yeah, I think there's similarly things in Journey that are hidden away that you're not gonna necessarily see the first time around, as well as a second playthrough. It has its own value.
Bloodworth, I really want to talk about that because the first time I played through Journey, I was in a weird mental state and I played offline. I wanted to play single player, and I went through the game and had a hell of a time on PS3. It was phenomenal. And then I played it on PS4, the re-release, online, and had one of the most memorable just encounters with people. And I appreciate that you played the music with no words, because no words are said in the game, and just the music and closing my eyes and thinking about all that was great. But do you think that you can always, like the moment I had with people online, do you think that happens every single time you play this game? Do you think it needs to happen every time you play this game?
Blood, when I first played this game, I was taking a knee, I was exploring, and someone hopped into my world and mashed the talk button, trying to get me to move along. It was incredibly annoying.
But
this game is only as good as people are, and most people are bad.
Well, that's one take.
Yeah.
But I mean, like...
I think any game that has the ability for somebody could come in and troll Huber in Streets of Rage and just like start punching him to the ground. Yes, they could.
They can grab you. Yeah, they can grab you.
No, a human can't do that to Huber.
Yes,
You'd have
they
to
could.
bring it in.
They would have to sneak into his house, plug in a second controller, and say, "Hey, bro, I'm about to do this to you."
Has that happened?
No.
Brad could do that. Brad could
Journey's
do
about
that.
strangers. Journey is only allowing strangers into your world.
But it's
You
about
can't play
opening
with a
up
friend.
to those strangers too. Don't you think that's awesome? It's about trusting another person, like in a game, and I think that is super
Well,
powerful.
what's trusting about it? You just walk around with them.
Yeah, but like Kyle just said, someone came up and spammed, and that's on Kyle to play into.
Oh.
Oh,
Man, I have stuff to say.
That was an insane presentation.
yeah, that was crazy.
Good on you, bud.
Well, you gotta reveal the next card.
Kyle's steamed.
I'm steamed.
Kyle's steaming.
You're steamed?
I'm steamed.
That's more
Kyle-
preparation than I've ever put into one of these.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Kyle got me steamed.
Stim
He's steamed.
Venmo.
Ben Moore.
Sorry, I said it before you got a chance. I got excited.
Steaming Kyle.
All right. I'll start when you start.
Okay.
Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
So tonight, I don't have any songs. I don't have any video. I don't have a speech written because when Kyle sent me a text, I knew immediately what game I wanted to put in the Hall of Greats. This is the most confident I've been with a game for Hall of Greats. And that game is Mega Man X. Here is why I want to put Mega Man X into the Hall of Greats. The start of this is it takes Mega Man, it takes all of those games that came before it, and it brings them up to an insane level. And the more that you analyze it bit by bit, you realize the grand evolution that is Mega Man X. And let's start with the opening level. This game immerses you into the world of Mega Man X. You're going through a ruined city. Everything is destroyed. As you're walking along, things are crumbling. You are encouraged through the design of the level to learn the new mechanics of the game. The wall jump. You get out there. There's a giant, like, Hornet Bee robot that's shooting things at you. You've got these giant leg things that are coming at you. It's crazy. And then at the end, you meet somebody named Vile, who you can't take down. You can, and then he traps you, and then Zero comes in and saves you. You have a friend who's stronger than you. You have a point that you're trying to reach. And that's just the prologue. That's just a hello, welcome to this game. Because, as you know, in Mega Man, there are 8 robot masters. There are 8 Mavericks here that you need to defeat. But these aren't just the straight Mega Man stages. If you beat Chill Penguin and you go to Flame Mammoth stage, the lava is frozen over. Because you decided to do it in this order, this is a world. These aren't just separate stages. One thing you do over here has an effect on the other. You can walk across this frozen lava and get a heart tank. And boy, do things hit hard. Boy, do you want those heart tanks. And let me tell you about those new mechanics. So before, you know, you got the boss weapons. There were different ways that you can use them. Very, very cool. But this game, there's a reason it's called Mega Man X. This Dr. Light is dead. You've got a new suit to get. And this suit, it will blow your mind. You got 4 pieces to collect. You know, you like the slide in Mega Man? Now you have a dash. You are more nimble. You can do things that you couldn't do before. You can do platforming feats. And the collectibles that you have to get in this game encourage you to do that. And it's not just like these armor pieces are all just well hidden. Some of them you have to defeat mini bosses. Bosses that if you don't go out of your way to find these parts, you won't encounter in this game at all. And you could have just upgraded the Buster. You could have just said, okay, you get a new charge, okay? You get a new charge, and that's all well and good. But the boss weapons, once you go out of your way to collect the Buster upgrade, you can charge boss weapons as well. That shotgun ice, it's not just bouncing off walls. You can create a platform so you can more easily get some of the collectibles that you want so badly. Like, this game is constantly giving you new tools, and the levels are so well designed that they make you use those tools to get the most out of the game. And the bosses, like, you think about NES Mega Man, and you think about a lot of those boss fights, and they're cool, they're fun, they're iconic, but a lot of them are so simple. A lot of them are just jumping around and shooting. You have more interactions with the bosses in Mega Man X than you do in previous Mega Man games. Like, you think about Sting Chameleon, okay? He's not just jumping around and shooting. He's using his tail to, like, cling onto the ceiling. He's going invisible. He's shooting beams at you. He's whipping his tongue at you. Like, this is a complex boss fight that is really fun to engage in and learn the moves from. Do I still have more time?
30 seconds.
Okay. The last thing that I want to say is we started this talking about Zero saving you, a point that you have to reach. When you get to the end of the game, Zero's like, oh, don't worry, man. I'm going to take on Vile. He gets wrecked. He sacrifices himself to destroy Vile's armor. And then you come in, you finally reach that point, and you honor his sacrifice, and you take Vile down. Tell me that is not a sick Mega Man moment.
Very good. Very good.
Spoilers.
There were spoilers.
Come on.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers
There
are
you go.
on
Questions.
during Hall of Greats.
Oh, they're on.
Just that's a rule. That's it. Like,
That's
you
right,
can,
yeah.
You can drop spoilers.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Hall of Greats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's important to talk about the whole story. Yeah.
Ben,
Yes.
Cool.
would you say the only thing that holds back Mega Man X from perfection is the fact you can't play a Zero in the first one?
The thing, so I really enjoy playing as Zero and X4, but I think for what it is, like a game designed around X, like you think about the time that Mega Man X came out and how much it introduced the series, it's like, hey, you have this whole other character, like it might have just been too much, and maybe all of the ideas wouldn't have been fleshed out. Like, when I am playing Mega Man X, when I'm going through it, this is what I will say to that. I'm not saying, oh man, I wish I was Zero. I am having an incredible time with what is in that game. You can play Zero and X3 too. I haven't played X3, so.
I was just looking at screenshots. Man, this is a beautiful game.
It is a beautiful game.
Damn.
It is a beautiful game. The enemies are so well designed. The bosses are so well designed. X and Zero are so well designed. Like, think about just how iconic X and Zero look as characters. Like, you don't need to change anything.
So Ben, I think this game's a unique case with the Hall of Greats, in that with, I'd say, X1 through X5, they are very similar games. And so we need to determine what makes X1 greater, or the great one.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess my memories. I played through all the original Mega Mans more recently, so I remember those real clearly. But the X's, I haven't played through all of them since I was a kid, and for some reason, I still remembered that. I thought I liked one of the further ones better. What, didn't they get more refined, or was X? Is X widely? I really don't remember it.
The X games that I've played are X1, X4, X5, and X6.
Isn't 2? So 2 wasn't considered better than 1, I guess. For
I
some
haven't
reason,
played
I
X2,
remember
but let
2
me
being
make
better
let
than
me
1,
make
but I
let
don't
me
know.
make a comparison for why X1 is the game that I am nominating for the Hall of Greats.
Okay.
And that comes down to level design. I feel like, and you can see this in later Mega Man mainline series games as well. So let me bring up Mega Man 8 real quick. In Mega Man 8, rather than just going through a really cool level, you have this snowboarding section, which is fun, but it's really just pattern memorization. It's kind of like the invisible blocks. It's like this thing where you're not doing the thing that you love about Mega Man. You're not going through the level and like shooting and sliding around and platforming. Like, when I think of Mega Man, when I think of a game that controls so well, that's what I want to be doing. And I think about like Mega Man X4, right? And there's like a level where you're like on a bike, and it's just like relying on this gimmick because it's the fourth one in the series, and you have to do this. In X, the ways that they mix it up, like you think about Armored Armadillo's stage, and you're on this thing, you're on this platform that's moving, that's shooting through this cave. While you are limited with movement, you're still shooting, you're still engaging in, it still feels very, very Mega Man. And with all of these stages, the challenges that you're given, like, you still have a lot of your arsenal that isn't being stripped away from you. And so I think in terms of level design from the Mega Man games that I've played, Mega Man X1 has like the absolute best level design that feels like it really rewards you for engaging with its core components.
It doesn't have invisible blocks?
No, it doesn't have invisible blocks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can't think of anything to say.
I just want to bring up the spider boss.
Okay.
In Sigma's Castle.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that is one of the most annoying and worst designed boss battles.
Ooh. Okay. Why do you think that?
Because of the patterns with it. Sometimes it's really like it is extreme RNG. As far as I know, you cannot manipulate how the patterns will come out. At least to like a first time player. So every other battle, there are patterns you can learn, and you're rewarded for learning them. Whereas that fight, it's just like, just try and guess the right spot. Like watch the lines, try and figure out where it's gonna go. It feels like an unfair challenge. Otherwise, that boss battle would be a joke.
So yeah, I guess you mentioned it in your criticism of that. The only thing that I really struggle with that boss is like your time for hitting it is super small, but I think because you can see the potential patterns that it goes down, like there are so many times with a pattern where it's like, okay, it's clearly not going to go to the right or left side at all. And so I actually think that is a really easy boss. And you might get hit a couple of times. Like there are definitely some times where I'm like, wait, okay, it's moving so fast and I can't quite tell.
Time.
But
Ooh.
dang.
Should we let them finish their sentences in a Q&A?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
That's
I
fine.
think he made a good point.
Time is cut off.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice job, Ben.
Nice job, man.
Ben, pull C's next.
Oh,
Brutal.
Brandon.
Brandon!
Brandon.
If I swap again.
Yeah.
Good luck, Brandon.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike Huber.
Break a leg, Brandon.
Gosh, thanks everybody.
I hope you do okay, but not so well that you do fine.
Right.
No.
We'll see. We'll see how we do. All right. I think this game is fundamental in the history of video games. It'll take a lot to dissuade me from that opinion. I think this is a game that reminds me a bit of Ocarina of Time, which we have already officially inducted into the Hall of Greats, in that the developer was faced with an old franchise. They were faced with something that clearly needed to evolve, that you had a lot of video games were moving into 3D. We're changing either a side view perspective of characters going left to right, or a top-down perspective of characters running around in any direction, and the need to grow up and to make that something that was going to compete with modern games. And the thing about Grand Theft Auto 3 is the fact that so little is compromised from the original vision of this franchise. You have the exact same mission structure, you have most of the same vehicles, a lot of the same combat, a lot of the same weapons that you're using, a lot of the same humor, but you're adding voiceover. The entire game is in 3D. Much like the original game, you have your story and you completely have this wide open freedom that you can ignore the campaign almost immediately from going into the game. But I think there's three things that really make GTA 3 impressive. One, like I've said, is this just seamless transition from this old game. So much so that it's almost like they took Grand Theft Auto 2 and just added this, additional camera where now you can just snap down into the world and see that entire world. But this interesting progression system of in 3 dimensions, of still not being able to visit all of the environments, of having the glory of finally having these bridges fixed, and so you can cross over and enter into these new areas and talk to these people. But I think when you think of Grand Theft Auto 3, a lot of people have said they find the campaigns boring in all of those games, and I completely sympathize with that. But you still, which is so rare to have in a lot of games, and I think even in some of the games we have mentioned tonight, is what was it, Kyle? Freedom, a perfect, simple freedom to really do whatever you want. And I remember at the time, back in the beginning of this century, sitting down with my friends and us trying to pick, who's going to get to 6 stars as fast as you can, and then try to survive as long as you can. And this is a game that was known for, a lot of people complain that you can pick up prostitutes and then run them over and steal the money. You can, kill cops with rocket launchers. There were lots of evil things you could potentially do in this game. But, I mean, this game is not...
Ooh.
There's...
this is not kind of like a BMX Triple X kind of thing. You know, this is not like a Postal kind of a game. This is not a game. This game has class. This game stars Robert Loggia, Michael Madsen, Joe Pantoliano. This is just above and beyond for a lot of things that were created at the time, especially things on the PlayStation 2. And so that, to me, is the third point, is just how classy this game is. How there's talk radio stations, which is pretty much unheard of across the entire spectrum of video games. You can voluntarily listen to an entire channel of people just talking for hours and hours on end. You can listen to just classical music, operas. You can listen to rock. You can listen to, you know, rap. That they put, you know, some licensed songs in the game. They also wrote their own music, and to me, it is something that was so clearly built upon with the later games that they have in Grand Theft Auto, because they nailed it so much in that one game. And I think it's a game that you can just easily jump into that world and have a good time. There's a lot of fun secrets to uncover, lots of great cheats that you can add, so much more so that they've actually done away with a lot of the cool cheats that they used to have. I remember swiveling the rocket around in the tank and flying in the tank, learning to fly the dodo, and the joy of flying it over the mountains and seeing the original area from the original cutscene that they just like hid behind the mountains, and just really soaking up that world and the excitement of every single time I would jump in and all of the surprises. And it is a very difficult game as well. You know, if you get 6 stars and you try to survive, unless you can, you know, find a hole to dig yourself into, if you want to keep that fight up, it is an extremely challenging video game. So many things to enjoy. And yeah, I got 45 seconds left. I love open world games. This game was the beginning of my passion for this franchise, I think, and just the genre in general. And I think even games today, something like Horizon, you look back, and clearly it was Grand Theft Auto 3 that just kind of ushered in the wave of how you handle these things and how you introduce people to a world that they can absorb at their own pace. GTA 3.
Can I go?
Oh,
wait.
Ooh, Huber.
He's ready.
Huber is locked in loaded.
Yeah, I'm locked in loaded. I have and I'm not trolling here. Okay, I have a legitimate question about Hall of Greats, because, you know, they're like, is GTA 3 like? I guess are we talking about games that have such a huge impact on the industry, or are we talking about games that hold up today, physically today, that you can play today and are superior and hold up? Because, you know, GTA 3, while it's my favorite world of the PS2 trilogy, the controls are far worse than any GTA. Aiming and shooting in this game is a challenge. There's a lock-on shooting mode. That's all you can do. Like, free aim is terrible. If guys are, like, I just finished this game a couple months back, the PS4 remaster. If guys are on the rooftops, they're really hard to kill. It's super frustrating. There's a lot of jank in terms of shooting, but again, like, its impact is bigger than the other GTAs. But is that the only thing we're talking about?
The way I view that's a classic argument, Huber, the nostalgia versus the modern. You know, it's like Super Mario 1 is great, but how do you compare Super Mario Brothers on NES to Super Mario 64? It's obviously a superior game. I think when you talk about nostalgia, I think that is just as good as talking about music or talking about platforming. I think that's just another column that you can say, how much nostalgia does it have? How much does that impact your playthrough? How much does that nostalgia last over so many years?
Nostalgia's not the right word for this, but okay.
But I think I feel nostalgia. I was nostalgic when I played Liberty City Stories in the PSP and revisited this world. And when they said, go to this restaurant, go to this area, I didn't have to look at the map. I knew where that was because I had memorized this world in 3D. Like, I knew the city.
But my question is GTA 3 a better video game than Vice City, than San Andreas, than 4, than 5?
You're talking about video games that could not have existed without.
But that's where my confusion with Hall of Greats comes in, because we're talking about.
Greatness.
But we're talking
it's
about
a combination, I think, of hold-upedness.
Yeah, we've already
and,
determined it includes both.
Yeah, it's the whole package.
Right.
It's got to hold up and be
And the
great to play right
context of
now,
today.
but also the context of when it came out. It's everything. It's like literally every determination you could make about a game. Weigh that, and is it one of the greats?
Yeah. Cool. Case in point, Ocarina of Time. Obviously, Breath of the Wild is the culmination of this franchise.
Yeah, but then GTA 3
but
wouldn't exist without
True.
1.
And I just personally, from my perspective, obviously, I was really excited when San Andreas came out and you could jump over walls. I was thrilled when GTA 4 came out and the shooting was so vastly improved. But I can still still play this game. I can still, beat these levels. I can still, activate these cheats and memorize these missions and go back. Like I love the one where you have to take out the crime boss. I just break out a rocket launcher and take the car out right away. There's also, like I said, you can fly planes in this game. You can drive cars in this game. You can just run around.
You can't fly planes. You can fly one plane with no wings.
Maybe you can't fly the plane, Kyle. But that plane is flyable. It takes skill. And yeah, it's a game. But it's a game you don't necessarily have to be good at to have fun. And so I think that is one particular aspect of it, but not something that has inhibited my playthroughs. Any playthrough that I've done of GTA.
What makes it better than GTA Vice City?
Does it have to be better than GTA Vice City?
Why did you bring 3 and not Vice City?
Because of the cornerstone of where that game fits into the franchise. The fact that it took all of the elements from the first game and then basically laid the foundation of what they were going to do moving forward. The fact that I still contend that we could put on GTA 3. Like, I understand you have issues, Huber, and that, the shooting isn't as good as some of the later games, but I refuse to believe that we could put on GTA 3 right now and no one in this room would enjoy it. That people would be like, just come on, this shooting, I give up on this game. So,
but would we have more fun with Vice City?
I think you would have an equal amount of fun, honestly, today. I think all of the PS2 games hold up. I think San Andreas is a lot bigger. I think the story's a lot more complex. I think visually, San Andreas kind of takes a hit because of how expansive they wanted the game to look. So I think the textures don't necessarily hold up. Draw distance is a little chunky.
It's GTA 5 though, right? That's the best one. That's the one that should be the great.
We'll get there. But I think we should be in there first.
Going up the list.
Man.
We still have 30 seconds.
Don's got something.
Unleash
No,
Don.
I don't
have it. It's just in my mind is what you said. I mean, it's a historical context. Like 3 is greater, but Vice City is a better game.
Yeah, but like if someone who's never played any GTA and they look at our Hall of Greats, wouldn't they want to play Vice City over 3? Like if someone that is detached from all nostalgia and all of that, wouldn't they prefer a more refined game?
It depends. I don't know necessarily, Huber, why this one argument would just be reserved for Grand Theft Auto.
It's tricky. It comes up a lot.
Time.
Oh. Sorry. I'm ready to have an hour-long debate about this.
I would love No, it's funny. It's funny because 3 is my favorite.
Time!
All right.
Okay, all right. That's a yellow card.
Speaking of 3, there are 3 more, and the next will be Michael Damiani.
Damiani, do you need someone over there?
So,
You're sitting on the WrestleMania chair.
Do it. Cozy.
Comfy. There should be like a Hall of Greats after hours.
There should be.
Where we air any grievances.
We're all just screaming at each other.
You know what?
Kyle?
Ocarina of Time. We're taking it out.
But it always ends with us like crying and hugging.
Yeah, it always ends with us crying and hugging. Or it's like,
you click the
all right, time to put on Gilmore.
to go to it. Yeah, you might have to tune it up or
How's
lower
everybody
it on
feeling, chat? No, man,
And then
send
for
up
us
his
to
tech.
see it, you have to go to
Yeah, how we feeling,
projector.
Chad? Good call, Ian.
Everybody feeling
Two,
good? Ooh,
and,
Opinion Nail Hall of the Greats edition is
Leave it
a
on
very
mine.
good idea.
Yeah.
That is a very good idea.
Blood just
That's
doesn't
happening.
speak. He just gets screamed at. This is why
we just play the soundtrack way too loud.
No.
at
It's always playing from the start of the opinion yell, and it just slowly gets louder until the
Damiani,
end.
am I going to know what the cue is?
It's just a picture of Austin.
It's 1 minute and 20 long, the video, so 3 minutes 40 seconds will tell Ian act like 3 minutes 40 minutes is 5 minutes and be like stop.
Okay.
And
I'll
just play
I'll
it.
keep this here
Yeah,
so you can see it.
but
Are you ready?
It
Go ahead
feels
and start.
so awesome after you've gone.
So, I was going to introduce my game, but the last conversation, I feel I need to see something really quickly. Hall of Greats, if you just go by what is what holds up the best, then it's going to unfavorably be biased towards newer games because they have the luxury of being able to stand on the shoulders of all these other games that have introduced new mechanics that have been perfected over time. So it has to be a balance between what a game did during its time. It's almost like when you look at the induction of the Hall of Fame in sports. You are judged by what you did during your tenure. They will judge you against other people as well, but one of the crucial factors is how well you did in your time, what numbers, what stats you put up. So that is what I feel should be like a huge determining. It's almost like 50-50, I don't know, anything like that. Anyway, Good stuff. 1 minute wasted on that. Tells you how much confidence I have in my pick. So, due to all of the complaints about Damiani picks Nintendo games, Damiani only picks Japanese games, Damiani only picks games made before 2000, specifically 1990s or 1980s. Well, right back at you, all of you. Goose Roll Die. What? The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. A game that I said I would never play. I looked at that game when it came out last generation. I was like, Western games. What is this filth? People must be crazy. Oh, just because it's popular, it's good? Was the world gone mad? Yo, I was going to start off by saying Breath of the Wild. But you know what? Breath of the Wild owes so much of its existence, its appeal, to a game that did it. Did all that stuff pretty much, except for the climbing on walls. Except you can do that with a horse in this game. Just give me a horse, I'll show you a mountain I can climb. Skyrim did it first. Jones talked about Grand Theft Auto, amazing open world game. Skyrim, huge open world, massive size, but it gives you so much authority. You can go and make almost whatever character you want. Be good, be bad, be neutral. And you have so much fun. And this game, I know it has third-person combat, but I hate first-person perspective. It makes me sick. Did not happen in this game. For whatever reason it is, they did it right. And let me tell you... Okay, we got 1 more minute till I gotta do my thing. Let me tell you, this game... The combat in this game, the variety you can do. I went range filth. I was a magic user. I went with flame, and I went with electricity basically, and healing abilities. And I had such a blast because getting up close with a sword and shield or an axe, you can do that too if you want, but it lets you play range filth, which is my preference. I would go in a different direction. And I know this is 2011, this was happening, but I was experiencing it this year. I would go off in a direction and be like, what's over here? Oh, I found a cave. Oh, it goes into a dungeon. This is even part of a quest. I was like, holy crap. I'm not lost in this dungeon. I'm even supposed to go this way. And the enemies in that game, some of them were actually pretty challenging for a little bit. It might have been my first time playing it, but I had such a good time fighting some of the bosses in the game, including roll footage. Oh. I could do this.
Is it Zelda?
I'm sorry, Damiani.
Projector.
Come on. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Projector. I'm there.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
No.
Am I stuck on here?
Save us, Damiani.
I did aggro?
There we go.
Dragon come?
Can you see it? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sort of. Not really, no.
Half of it.
How about now?
Alright.
Yeah.
Sort of? Okay.
Can you start it over?
No.
And the duel begins anew!
Shit! I gotta see what's happening.
Well done, dragon! So basically I had a really high level bad guy aggro a dragon.
Oh yeah, I ain't killing that dragon.
That's time right there. Oh, it's time.
That's over. That's the end. Well done, dragon!
Wow. What a whirlwind of emotions that presentation.
Poor Kyle.
It was screen 2, huh?
It's okay. Just don't close XSplit.
So, Damiani, you started the conversation by talking about how newer games have the advantage over older games, and I think that is just completely wrong, because games like Super Mario 3 hold up as timeless classics. Chrono Trigger holds up as a timeless classic. There are games that can be old and still hold up today versus newer games.
Mega Man X.
That is very true. But are you gonna tell me that? Oh, which Mario game did you say?
3.
Okay. Well, I'd say Super Mario World came out after and was better. So.
And World, but that's still an old game that holds up versus newer games.
But they get better. Like, some people think New Super Mario Brothers is the best version of those games. Like Wii U. Like, people love New Super Mario's Wii U. So certain someone did top Mario games of all time and put that pretty near the top recently. So, I mean, I think it comes down to opinion, Huber. That's the honest answer.
Of course.
It's that whatever you want to judge this. I think that's why everyone's hesitant to say Huber. There's a definitive rule for Hall of Greats.
Yeah.
Newer games need to be favored. They're favored over.
This is neither here nor there for right now, though.
But he brought it up.
Yeah.
I have to answer the question.
No, I know.
Ian's ready to go. Let Ian go.
I'm ready to go. All right. Morrowind is better. Skyrim is visually kind of bland. The NPCs are hideous. The combat is not great. They can't go through doors. Loading at doors is really annoying. The missions are kind of dumb.
Wait, can I just jump in and bolster that point real quick?
Yeah.
I spent about 100 hours in Skyrim, the Xbox 360 version, and when I was using melee, this was actually every single fight in the game. Block, / block, / magic, hold down trigger, out of mana, potion. Like, I was so excited before the game came out, where they're like, oh man, dragons are just gonna come down and fight you? Every dragon in that game is stupidly easy and wasn't exciting to fight at all, and then you just gotta deal with their bones, and it weighs way too much, and you're not having any fun!
Like, I love Morrowind. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I really loved Oblivion. I couldn't even, bolster the interest in this game. I played it on the Switch. I enjoyed it. Fine, whatever. But, I don't want to play it anymore.
I played it when it came out. Sorry,
I got to ride a horse up a mountain. And it worked.
I mean,
I played it
Can
on
I do that in the other ones?
Probably. Well, in Morrowind, you could just jump up a damn mountain if you leveled up high enough.
I could play this with Amiibo. I can make myself look like Link with the Master Sword.
So we're talking about the Switch version
I've got a
specifically.
motorcycle, Damiani.
And you play some VR.
Breath of the Wild, I have a motorcycle right now.
Can you play as Link without mods in the older Elder Scrolls games?
I don't. Why would you want to?
Because I can! Immersion!
Link in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Official Link.
You're just some doofus wearing a Link costume.
No. The experience of throwing that Amiibo down and seeing it in Skyrim.
I'm pretty sure this is a troll pick.
Yeah.
But,
I'm pretty sure.
damn it.
Damiani,
Dark
that's a
Souls
yellow
came out
card.
at the same time.
The biggest problem for me, like Ben was saying, melee combat in this game is just so boring and
Trash.
It is trash.
It is trash. It's not beater on the bush.
Yeah, it is trash. If you're not
fucking trash.
If you're not blocking and hitting,
UI is
you're
so
running
poor.
in and running back. But
The
also,
UI is so poor that you can't really it took me a while to figure out even how to do magic and pick new spells and stuff.
Also,
It's
too,
not good
the
UI.
biggest thing too is this is a game about exploration. This is a game about exploring and finding hidden caves and finding cool things. But when none of that matters in the end, if I go into a cave and find some sick sword or some sick axe, the game is still going to be just as easy and just as boring if I don't go and do that. So the combat's still going to be
Eviscerated.
trash.
So everyone hates Skyrim.
Yeah, except for everyone who's gonna flame us, but whatever.
Cool.
Such a
Mission
what a
accomplished,
girl,
huh?
dude. What a guy.
Damiani, would you not say it's an ugly game?
But it's from 2011.
It was ugly then.
Hold
on
up.
PC. Huber, you were showing me on
In
PC how amazing it
2011,
looked.
I had
gotta
to
hold up.
install mods, which I've never done in my life, just so the water didn't look terrible.
Wow.
Well,
here's what we know about the Hall of Greats so far. There are no ugly games in the Hall of Greats right now.
Okay. Pokemon sprites are pretty ugly.
That's not fair. That's
Not
not
in the
fair.
Hall of Greats yet. We got 10 seconds left. Skyrim.
I disagree with
I like
everyone.
the-
I had a good time. Skyrim's a
This is,
good
no,
game.
no. This is Q&A. You don't just get to say stuff.
Oh my
Damn, Damiani, that was hilarious.
Yeah, Damiani. You're a madman.
Yeah!
I really enjoyed that. I
Yeah,
just want
that
to
was a
say,
lot of fun.
we're supposed to cross-examine. We're supposed to get heated. That's the
We've gotta
whole
get me.
point of this
Damiani,
thing.
wait, you gotta run this one.
Nobody gets a free ride into the Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta put on your hat.
We gotta bring up arguments.
You gotta yell at games you love.
Yeah.
All right, so
no
for this,
free passes.
For this, since it's VO, we'll just kill the mics because otherwise you'll hear an echo. If it was loud enough for us to hear it, you would hear it.
So they just won't hear us reacting.
You won't hear us, but you'll be able to see us in the corner, I guess.
That is intended.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 1 is not super ugly.
No.
You fools.
No. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle.
All right, so let us know when you're about to start it.
Give me a sec.
Jones, these Mountain Dews are like flat, man. We got shortchanged.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Kyle's not happy.
Got him off.
We'll get the tiny
the whole
bottles.
thing
Alright,
too.
so I'm
Like,
gonna mute everyone and just play the video.
Okay, it starts with it starts with audio. So it starts with.
All right, ready? I'm just gonna do it. Here we go.
Created by brothers Robin and Rand Miller, 1993's Myst is a groundbreaking game. It was the best-selling PC game of all time until it was unseated by The Sims in 2002. It was a huge part of popularizing CD-ROM as a gaming format, and it was among the first video games marketed directly to adults. Robin and Rand, otherwise known as Cyan, had been making black and white children's games in a format called HyperCard, which is basically a stack of slides linked by hyperlinks like a web page. Myst features beautiful environments, pleasant music, challenging puzzles, non-violent gameplay, and a thoughtful, non-linear storyline featuring player choice and ethical decisions.
Where should I begin?
In the game, players meet Atris and his two sons, Cirrus and Akinar, all members of a race of people called the Danii. The Danii have the ability to create worlds known as ages through writing them in special books called linking books. The player character, called the Stranger, explores the island of Myst at their own pace and discovers linking books to other ages: the stark Selenitic Age, the aquatic-themed Stoneship Age, the creepy Mechanical Age, and my personal favorite, the Treehouse Village Age called Channelwood. The ages all feature a rich and captivating atmosphere, largely bolstered by brilliant audio design, detailed visuals, and sparse music. While the graphics are simplistic by today's standards, at the time I truly felt transported to these places. They felt strange and frightening, but also real, like the places I'd always dreamed I'd get to visit. The isolation one feels in these ages is palpable. You are always afraid that someone will be around the next corner, and you always feel like you're being watched. While you might not be surveilled at all times, your presence is known, and Atris, Cirrus, and Akinar are all hoping to sway you to their point of view, and are awaiting your final decision.
Why?
Cirrus and Akinar have been trapped in ages of their own. They each claim that Atris is dead by the other's hand, and that they themselves have been wrongfully imprisoned. They plead with the player to locate missing pages from the linking books that will allow them to be freed. As the player finds more pages, their messages become more clear, and one can more fully judge which son, if either, is to be trusted. The game culminates with a choice: free Cirrus, free Atris, or leave them both imprisoned. With their final pages, the player discovers a third linking book, one that Cirrus and Akinar warn the player not to touch, as it is a trap much like the books they are stuck in themselves. The player's choice, as informed by the tidbits of lore they've discovered throughout the game, will lead to one of 4 possible endings, each illuminating in its own way.
He returned. He wouldn't protect.
Something I love about this game is that you really feel like you're there. You feel like you are having an impact, not only on the story but on the world itself. As you traverse the ages, you sort of put them back together. You reactivate long dormant machines to open up new pathways and secret doors. You travel to great heights and gain new perspective. You shape and unlock and change the ages, and as the pathways of the labyrinthian worlds expand, so too does your understanding. Each puzzle feels in itself a piece of a larger puzzle, and since the game places the player, you as yourself, in the game, among the first games to do this explicitly, you truly do feel transported, as if it really was your hand that touched the first linking book, and you were swept away to open your eyes on the docks of Myst. The Myst game was very well received by critics and players alike, and has led to a lasting legacy. not only of Myst sequels, but Cyan World's own Abduction, released in 2015, and as a cited influence on games like Dear Esther, Gone Home, and The Witness. For me, though, the legacy of Myst is more personal. I played the game for the first time with my dad, each looking over the other's shoulder as we tried to figure out these puzzles together, writing notes in notebooks or post-its or on the backs of envelopes or any other paper we had handy. Being transported to these dream worlds, in a story about a father and his children, playing with my own dad, it's a feeling that has stuck with me through today. Every time I play Myst or a game like it, I have that feeling of being someplace far away, someplace impossible yet somehow familiar. But it also feels like I'm playing with my dad, writing notes in our terrible handwriting. It feels like home.
That was a great video. Yeah. That was an excellent video. I love that.
Little mini Myst retro.
Put that on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Put that on YouTube. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. You put a lot of work, and it was wonderful. You should review video games.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
I got a new rule before we go into cross-examination. Anyone who says the word bolster again gets a yellow card.
Why?
We've had 3 bolsters tonight, and that's my bolster limit.
Okay.
There's only one other person.
I'm sorry,
You're
Kyle.
hamstringing
You
the last
benefit
person?
from yellow carding.
Kyle, I will say this to you.
Yeah.
I feel as though that is arbitrary.
What if Brad wrote a script that had bolster in it, and now he's got to go in and
figure out
take the
some
word
other
out
word.
because he just
No
was
script.
unfortunate to go?
No
Yeah,
script.
I think that life doesn't change to your annoyances.
This is true. But we'll see if my annoyances could possibly affect.
Jones is ready to go. Okay.
I have a lower question.
All right.
Yeah.
If he's trapped in a book by magical means, why is he in a VHS tape with like television static?
I mean, that's just like
It's a Jones
it's
question.
an aesthetic choice.
No, it was weird.
I mean, he's trapped because Sears and I guess Akinar ripped a page out of the linking book, and I think that, I mean, in the lore, the Dani can create these ages by writing them, and I think that video, and maybe it has to do with tech of the time, like FMV was a new feature, and it was very, very cool at the time, but I think that was just an elegant way for them to simulate that kind of idea that someone is in this book, they're trapped in this age, without having to make you just like read the book. So I think it's an elegant way of just kind of showing that, you know. I wouldn't even say that it's like metaphorical, but I think it's just a cool way that they figured out to show that.
Ian, everything that you said about that game is what I read. Like, I would read so many amazing pieces about Myst. I'm like, I want to know more about this amazing world. I want to check out these really creative places. I want to find more out about this intriguing story. And then when I played Myst, my actual experience was, holy hell, I have no idea what to do here. I feel like I have gone through every possible combination that makes sense in my mind, and it just ended up being a really frustrating experience. I wasn't playing it with somebody, I was playing it by myself, and admittedly I was very young, but I felt like I never got to get to the good part of Myst because it would be so frustrating.
I mean, Myst is definitely... It doesn't hold your hand at all. It just is there, and it's on you to figure it all out. But in the library, there is a book for every age that if you read it, it kind of gives you pretty big hints. And then if you look at the portrait in the library that reorients the tower, it basically straight up gives you the answer to the puzzle. You just have to find where the puzzle is. So I think that maybe, I don't know how old you were when you tried it, but I think that if you played it now, and there's Real Myst, which has free walk, free look. I started this, I was doing capture yesterday, and I started in Real Myst. I actually greatly prefer the original Myst. That was Myst Masterpiece Edition, one of the re-releases, but it's the same pretty much. But I like the point and click, and you can do point and click in Real Myst too, but I would say check out Myst Masterpiece Edition now, because I think you'd really like it. The world is very interesting, and it's all placed there and very specific. You can find all the answers, you just have to be willing to look for them.
Can you give us an example of a puzzle that is good?
Yeah. I mean, there are a bunch of different ranges of puzzles.
Just one.
Well, one of the ones I really like is to get into Channelwood, you have to turn a wheel and you hear the gas is coming out on this furnace, and you've gotten the code from the tower for this safe. So you put in the code to the safe, you open it, and there's just a box of matches on it. And you click once to pick up the match, you click a second time to light the match. You like drag it across the thing to light the match, and then you have to go over and light the pilot light on the boiler. And then it raises the tree up, and the tree you find out is actually an elevator. And then you have to turn the gas off once the door is high enough, so that when it starts coming back down, you have time to go out and then get in the tree and ride it down to find the book to Channelwood. So like that's a really cool example of not like because there are like straight up puzzles in this game. I showed the one to get to the mechanical age where it's the clock tower puzzle, which is a puzzle to get in there first, and then you have like to change these gears and get the numbers right. So that's like a classic hardcore puzzle. But this game has those, and it also has these kind of environmental puzzles where you have to solve a situation and time things. So I think I really like that puzzle. The getting into Channelwood is really cool. And then once you're in Channelwood, figuring out the flow of the water, because everything is powered by water in that. There's the windmill that first you have to open the flow to get water out into the pipes, and then you can tell the water where to go with those little valves and power different elevators to get you to different parts of the thing. So like the whole location is a puzzle, and you really feel like you're having an impact on it.
What
I
happens
really
if you
like
open the green book?
I mean, that's one of the endings. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
So that's the book that Atris is in.
Yeah.
And
The dad.
Yeah, the dad. And he goes, whoa, who are you? And like you're about to click it, and he's just like, wait, don't.
Time.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's cool though.
That's so funny.
Reveal.
Cool.
Brad.
That's me.
Good luck, Brad.
Go get him, Brad.
Brad's got a appetite.
Just a few little notes.
That was hilarious timing.
All right.
I can tell you about it later. That was really cool.
Okay. Ooh. Hit it, Damiani.
Brad wins. I know exactly what he's gonna
First
do.
one. What?
I know exactly
Heck
what this
yeah.
game is.
So, little older game right here. I know we got a lot to talk about nostalgia. People going on, does it hold up? It's a little game I just beat last week called Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Beat it for the first time in my entire life. And Huber, I'm ecstatic to say, it holds up.
Nice.
Holds up hard. For one thing that makes Chrono Trigger unique is its combat system. What stands apart from its brother like the Final Fantasy games. They're typical, turn-based. Everyone's just lined up right there. That's it. Chrono Trigger, positioning matters. Depending on where an enemy is, an attack might be more effective. For example, Cyclone might get an extra hit in there. My favorite part about this game actually is, in the combat, is the text that you have. So you have your typical RPG moves. You always win this, or you always learn the same moves. So it's not confusing. It's very simple, but it's how you use these texts together with your comrades what really matters. Now, if you do a tech with certain characters, the tech will be different. For example, one of my favorites is called Lightning Rod. So if you have Chrono and Frog in the same party, Frog jumps in the air, stabs his sword in something, and Chrono summons thunder down on that sword. Yeah, that's pretty sweet, Jones. Also, it carries over to triple text. So depending on who you have in your group, if you have Marl and Frog and Chrono Trigger, you can do a big attack that's unique to them, and only they can do that. Let's see. So every character brings something to the table. They're all good. Depending on who you pick, you could beat the game. Grinding is not required in this game. Also, if you come at a situation and you learn, you may die in a fight. You may die, but if you come in and you learn from the fight, you can get through it. You do not need to sit there and grind to beat this game. You don't gotta do it, Kyle. You don't gotta do it, man. Let's see. So, and also, what's important in every RPG, characters and story, man. Every character in this game is awesome. Particularly Frog and his relationship, or what his story is, his arc. Spoilers coming, here they come. Frog was a human that got turned into a frog by Magus. Now, the whole Frog joins your party this whole time, trying to kill Magus to get vengeance for his friend that died during the fight. But when you run into Magus, he's actually not the bad guy. He is trying to kill the head bad guy named Magos, or Matt. I just forgot his name was. Lavos. Magos. Lavos. Yellow card. And depending on this, you have a choice. You could kill Magus if you want. You don't have to. You can let him live and he will join your party. Or you could kill him and he's gone. That's it. This could also happen to the main character, Chrono. Chrono can die in this game. And you can not resurrect him. There's a way to bring him back. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. You could beat the game without him. And this game has over a dozen endings to go through. So if you beat this game, there's more to see. And once you beat it, New Game Plus, baby. You're coming in over with all your gear, all your levels, so you can crush this game. You could beat the game early even. You can kill Lavos early if you want. It's not a game that just stands in a simple world. It travels throughout time, and the decisions you make throughout time carry over into the future. For example, if Lavos comes in the year 1999 in this world, and he wrecks everything in the future. But if you kill Lavos early, you could stop that from ever happening. There's side quests, Hubert. I know you love side quests. I know you love that character development. Mass Effect 2 style Hubert side quest. You're going through the end of the game. You're getting that context. You're finding out why what his life was as a robot. You're finding out why Luca has such a scarred past and why she loves machines and everything like that. It's just a game that holds up. I don't even know what to say, man. I'm freaking out just talking about it. I get chills. And the music, 10 out of 10. One of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a video game. It's a game that I could play every single year. Just end it. Just end it. Just end it, man.
He cedes the rest of his
Oh,
time.
man, just end it.
Woo. Got a softball for you, Brad.
Throw it at me, dude. Just lob it.
What do you say to someone who just doesn't like the Curatoriana's artwork?
Oh,
There it is.
That's a yellow.
right at the gate, right at the
Well, the sprite work, Damiani, that doesn't translate over as distinctly. The only time you would actually see the artwork is in the character portrait or if you're watching the anime cutscenes. But if you don't like it, dude, you're a crazy person. That's all I gotta say.
That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a very good game.
I don't know, like the 3D sections look dumb?
What 3D section?
When you're like driving around like F-Zero style?
That's just the side, dude.
That makes sense. It looks great. Then come on.
He's trying. He's trying.
I know.
All right.
I
He's trying. We're trying to criticize Chrono
It looks
Trigger.
great. It doesn't. It looks good.
I mean, I always had this game always kind of frustrated me. I did not beat it as a child. I got to the end and could not beat the final boss. Finished 6.
Were you
went into Chrono Trigger like, oh, I'm great at JRPGs. And then was like, I got to go back, I guess, and get more powerful. And there was nobody in the world. Every time zone I went back to, there were no enemies there.
What boss
to-
was
to
this?
grind out.
Was this Magus?
Yeah, or the
No, he was the
Lavos.
end.
Lavos?
The
Were you the very end of the game?
Yeah.
You couldn't beat him?
I mean, I was like,
Oh,
Jones has
okay.
told this story a million times.
I mean, you could go
have
in the
not
world and fight guys.
Been able to figure that out.
yeah.
What happened to Jones?
There just might have been something about the fight that was tricky that I didn't realize what was happening.
Oh, well, I think
I wonder-
if you
curious if I
probably
could do it
if
now.
you probably attempted the boss fight more, you would learn more of his mechanics.
Right.
Because that is a factor in some of these fights.
Yeah.
So I think if you just gave it a little more go, and it's the last boss, it's going to be a little tougher, but I think it's definitely doable, especially compared to other JRPG bosses.
I guess, Brad, I guess I wonder if there's any creativity in the battling.
Yeah, totally. That was the JRPG doing that. Like, guys were not just random encounters. You see these guys in the world. The position kind of matters in the world.
I mean, from you as a player. Like, once you're in that position, you're kind of just automated on your way
Well,
through
the
it.
enemies move around and everything like that, too, during the battle. Not necessarily just stationary.
Your weapons don't show up.
Yeah, they do.
When you get new weapons,
Yeah,
it's
they
all
do.
It's all the same.
When you, like, do an attack with something, like Chrono's blade is a different color.
It's lame.
Okay.
I think that. What do you think about the beginning? Has kind of a slow start. Some of the mini games in the fair that you kind of need to do to get certain results are a little bit grindy.
The thing about the mini games is there's a part in the game where if you want to save Chrono, you need to do some of these mini games. You could totally skip that the whole beginning of the game. It's all up to you. If you want to play any of these games, you're not forced to do any of that. You're not forced to do anything with Marl. You're not forced to watch her get candy. It will have consequences, though, depending on what you do. But that's just if you want to get that ending blood, and it takes like 10 minutes to get them out.
There's a lot of endings, Brad.
Yeah.
Are they all good? Is there one canon
There
ending?
is a canon ending, Huber.
Is it easy? Like, if I'm a new player and I never played Chrono Trigger, am I
Yes,
gonna
I think it's pretty easy.
pretty straightforward.
Pretty
So the other
straightforward.
endings are really just like a bonus, pretty much.
Sure, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd say a majority.
Yeah,
Of them.
replay value. Add replay value.
Cool.
I guess it's hard to find. Do we consider that a
What?
thing?
What?
The game
This game.
itself?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It was on Wii Virtual Console. I know that.
Brad,
Yes.
I'm trying here. Chrono, silent protagonist. When I think about Chrono Trigger, it's easy to get excited about people like Frog and Robo, but like when I think about Chrono Trigger, I don't really have any attachment
Sure.
to that character. Do you think he could have been made more interesting in the game?
That is the one thing I'll give you, is that Chrono does not have much of a personality. He's the silent protagonist that we are familiar with from JRPGs. I did the classic thing that they wanted. The intention was for you to inherit that character kind of thing, your personality, because you do have options to make.
Did you name him Brad?
No, I named Chrono.
Oh, okay.
Keep it canon, baby.
Nice.
Yeah, keep it canon, baby. But yeah, Ben, that's one thing that I think about too. That's about it.
30 seconds left.
Do you remember when Frog cut that mountain up?
Yeah, that was real sick. That was awesome as hell.
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah, we did it. We did it.
Someone said that you can get it on your phone.
Yeah.
I'm verifying that.
Don't recommend
Come
that.
on, what are you doing?
Why would you play that on your phone?
Is it bad?
Of course it is. It's a swearing I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Also, it's not on this
So
end.
Huber, you went first, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Alright.
And
Kyle
it was,
is
Wait,
Streets of
writing
Rage
on the
2?
back.
Yep.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With this, do we get to explain why?
Oh, that's
Like
not
survive?
You have
Okay,
to.
yes. Okay, I love this.
You have like 30 seconds
what?
to say,
How much
I'm
time,
voting
Kyle?
3 for this game for this reason. I'm voting 2 for this game for
We have
this
about 30
Isn't that
seconds
gonna
to
give
explain all
away
our
everything though,
choices.
Kyle?
That's weird.
Yes, we're turning off the chat. It's not weird blood.
No,
We've already discussed
us. No, Kyle.
Yes.
Kyle is at his
Us
wit's
watching
end.
people do the
Wit's end.
votes is gonna spoil it for us.
We're leaving. We're going in the back.
Okay.
I've discussed this multiple
Wit's
times.
end.
Wits
dude.
end.
I love
Wits
it.
end.
I love
Welcome to
Wits
my
end,
world,
Kyle.
Great. Get him a do.
Yeah.
Get him some Taco Bell.
Get him a do.
We're going off the
Put some
rails.
carbonation in the dews.
Wits end Kyle is best Kyle.
Wits and Kyle's best Kyle. Yes.
What was the word? Shading edge.
Wow, dude, Kyle.
Kyle's wits need to be bolstered right now.
It was the straw that broke the camel's back.
All right, next was Don with Super Mario Maker, right?
Yeah. So my understanding is that so we're all going to exit the garage. We are going to enter in one by one in Kyle in the order which we originally were chosen.
Yeah, I like that. That's
I think
Where's
they're all
the
here
mic
in
that we're
case
talking into?
I'm gonna move these.
Yeah, we'll move this mic
Shotgun
over.
mic.
It's all been planned.
And then we have our werehogs that were lovingly provided to us by our community. We'll put 1 chip in for our third place vote, 2 chips in for a second place vote, 3 chips in for our first place vote. Speak into the camera, identify why we are picking what game, and then whoever suggested that game at the end will count up their chips, and we will decide who has the most chips and therefore who wins.
Did I go third?
Yes.
And Kyle, I know you'd said we should come in that door, go out that door. I think just for safety's sake, we should come in and leave from that door.
Just because it's a
There's
little
too much
risky
to
out there,
bump.
a
There's
little
too much to
dark.
bump, and there's dark, and there's dog
How many
food.
games get in?
2.
How
What?
many games get into the Hall of Greats?
Yeah.
It's only 2.
Wasn't it always just 2?
Yes, I'm just saying this for you.
Yes.
Oh,
I knew
2
it.
games.
2 games get in.
Wits it.
Wits end Kyle is best Kyle.
Kyle says Wits in.
Yeah.
Kind of arbitrary
Stress, yeah.
changes, so good question.
Give me some Taco Bell.
Good question.
Simple freedom.
Need some Taco Bell. Simple freedom.
And are the games up on the screen, Damiani?
No, they are not because
They're
they're
gonna
going to
be
be
on the
on
bags.
that.
He's writing them on the bags. We have a camera.
But the people at home cannot see the bags.
They
So-
will
They have a
eventually.
They have
All
a
of this
a
has
back
been
camera.
dealt with.
Okay,
They can
so
see
I
them
did
on
Pokemon
camera.
Red and Blue. Who came after that?
The bags?
There's another camera.
Was I after?
There's a
Kyle?
webcam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Blood.
Yeah, Journey.
Correct.
Here,
But,
here.
but are the users
He's
at
writing
home?
them on both sides.
There
The
we go.
bags are on the bottom
He's
of the
right on both
shot.
sides. I didn't know.
Yes.
This is what it looks like.
All
Jones.
has been considered.
There you go, Jones. This is how it looks.
Nobody knock a bag over and dump.
Yeah, Huber, don't dump the bags over.
What was everybody's favorite part of tonight?
Ben Moore was after Bloodworth.
Arbitrary yellow cards.
Oh, I'm just trying to stall while I write down.
Damiani saying Furo Da. I'm still.
Damiani
that was incredible.
Also, Damiani eating a
trolling.
minute of his own time just to like final word the like hold upness argument.
Ibo Shaw asked a very good question. If a game receives no votes from anyone, it is banned from deliberation in the Hall of Greats for a full year.
And if it only gets votes from the person who picked it, it is still banned.
Right.
Yep.
So
How-
it needs a vote from somebody else. Somebody needs to
But only
save the
chat's
game.
gonna know if somebody voted.
We're honest people.
Yeah, we're honest people.
Except for now, I doubt that you would say because you asked that question.
Has that happened? Has someone voted for their own thing and no one else did, and then that got booted? Oh well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I voted
it happened
mine
to Don.
instead.
What happened after Mega Man X?
Who went after Ben?
After Ben was myself.
Okay.
I was after Jones.
GTA 3.
GTA 3.
Tommy?
GTA.
We're definitely mentally at the end of
Do you
Hall
all
of
know what you're
Greats.
voting for?
I'm
Yeah.
with Sam.
Oh,
No.
yeah, no idea right now.
No idea. No idea.
Yeah,
I got my votes.
All right, Damiani.
All right, Damiani, calm
I
down.
hate this.
Huber hates voting.
I'll vote for you,
hate it.
Kyle.
I don't think he was lobbying for votes.
No, I meant I'll do Kyle's voting for him.
Oh,
Make it easier
I
for him.
see. Vote on your behalf.
You vote for like.
Skyrim's gonna have
I'll be the
6
absentee
points.
vote for you, Kyle.
All right, then after Damiani.
Hall of
was
Greats is fun
Ian Hick
Right?
and
Yeah.
then Brad.
Interesting.
and stressful.
This is very
and
intense.
then Chrono
And
Trigger.
chat comes
Some
hard.
excellent games though,
Dude,
gentlemen.
so
This
hard.
is
Some
a
really
tough,
decent
This is a
cross
tough
the
one.
spectrum. I think I really enjoy.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
Some plenty of games that are on that list that I definitely could have brought to the table and argued for.
So just to run down the list again: Streets of Rage 2, Super Mario Maker, Pokemon Red and Blue, Journey, Mega Man X, Grand Theft Auto 3,
Skyrim.
Elder Scrolls 5
Myst,
Skyrim, Myst,
and
Chrono
We
Trigger.
only wrote it on one side.
Ooh. Also, I only wrote Skyrim. I didn't write Elder Scrolls.
That's
5.
fine.
That's fine.
Yo, is it Caribbean or Caribbean?
Caribbean.
I think it changes based on context. So
Okay.
it's like Pirates of the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
but we're
Going to
on the
Caribbean?
beach in the Caribbean,
Okay.
right?
That's
I think
weird.
It's supposed to be
Like
Caribbean.
it's Route 66, but
Yeah.
it's your route.
It's the something
That you
about. I
travel.
remember when I
Okay.
was there. Said they said something about Carib though. It's pronounced Carib. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, well,
A really good comment was
Right,
Pirates of the
America, right?
Pirates of the Caribbean at wits end.
I-
That's a good comment.
I have oh yeah, we should get our hugs. I have
Hogs.
a recommendation. I got a Christmas album recommendation. It's called Caribbean Christmas. It is very good.
Is that real?
Yeah. And that's how I
them
remember how
down.
it's
Pass them down.
Caribbean.
Pass
Because
them
like
down.
Pass them down.
Caribbean Christmas. Yeah.
We always listen to the sounds
Good,
of
good.
blackness.
She
Whoa,
likes
what is
me
that?
for me.
It's good.
Couldn't it
How
just
about,
be
Whoa.
either way?
Another classic Christmas song.
Do we have hogs for hogs? Hogs for hogs.
Hog for hogs. Christmas vacation.
Make a laugh just like Jim Carrey.
Is that a lyric from that album?
I'm like the cable guy. Cause what
ready?
you see is yeah.
It's a good thing we weren't holding these the whole
So
stream.
let's go on the. Kyle, should we go?
I'm curious though for
Good
maybe in the
presentation.
future.
Alright.
Do we have 9 different colors of these?
Kyle, no, it's just 3, 2,
You want to
and
test
1.
the cam?
So if
Damiani
you have
wants to
3,
switch
Say
vote for
words,
something
Kyle.
for 3.
No, but I'm just
Check-
saying
check
if we had
mic
9
check.
different
Can you
colors.
all hear me
then
okay?
we
I
would
thought of
have-
that too. It'd be cool.
Can you all hear me okay?
Kyle, should we do
Tell me how
reverse
sync
order
it
for
is,
voting?
chat.
We
Tell
wanna
me how
test
in
our
sync is
What's
Kyle.
wrong here?
Should we do reverse order for votes?
Just for fun.
3,
So,
2,
like,
1.
Me
just-
first?
Just Brad.
Yeah, so it'd be that, and then we go back.
I'm ready.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm
Audio
ready.
seems good. Cool.
Good.
Wait, so we're switching it up?
Yeah. So Brad will go first. We'll
Brad
get
is
that-
the
Oh,
first.
so we all
Good.
Damiani, put on the preview so that people can see where their head is.
Oh yeah, and we gotta
Oh, yeah.
we gotta destroy chat.
Don't
Oh, yeah.
destroy chat.
Yeah.
Destroy chat.
Is there time for about
Destroy shut up.
Oh, shit.
Well, we're gonna bring chat back later.
Yes.
No, wait, leave that on. Leave that on.
Wrong one.
Leave that on, Jones.
it was
Why? So that we can see the shot and see if our heads are off.
Oh, got it. It's weird not to be able to see chat.
Yeah,
Isolated.
I feel naked. Naked and afraid.
All right, so chat.
Huber's in the bathroom.
Okay, so it'll just be me and Ian hanging out.
We're supposed
for a
to have the
second.
door shut? Stall.
You can read this. This is cool. This works.
Yeah, this works. Your idea was great.
Are we supposed to have this door shut?
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys didn't come through there or what?
No, we're gonna come in and out from
through
there.
here.
Right.
Because there's too much.
You're gonna have to
bump.
leave at some point. I don't know
Yeah.
whether.
We're waiting for Huber to get out of the dang bathroom.
He's doing research.
Yeah, like if we had these the whole time.
Oh, it'd be a nightmare.
Especially like the Q&A part where we're thinking of stuff to say.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger.
These are like loud ones too.
I don't like the 3D parts.
Alright, we're good. You good?
Good to go.
You got your Warhawks?
Got my Warhawk.
Okay. Alright.
Good to
BRB.
Shut it. It's time for me to chat. Hey chat, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Let's see. Start off with my one coin. I'm gonna give it to Streets of Rage 2. Giving 1 point to Huber for Streets of Rage 2. Really fun beat 'em up. Love it. I don't love as much as Huber, but I think it's impossible to love something as much as Huber. Great game. It holds up. Have fun playing it every time. Second one is from Mega Man X. Love Mega Man X. One of my favorite Mega Man games. I've played many Mega Man games. It's one I can always come back to. Always have a great time. And it doesn't get out of control with random bullshit. It's great. Yeah, and number one, dude, going to Chrono Trigger. I'm sorry, I'm voting for myself. I don't say this very often, but Chrono Trigger is now one of my favorite games of all time. I would say it's in top 3. I don't even know what the hell's in top 3, but I know Chrono Trigger is in there now. And I'm getting someone else now. Who's up?
Me. Goo. Hi, everybody. Alright. Let's see. Ben's presentation was phenomenal. Chrono Trigger is a really good game. And I really loved Super Mario Maker. And I wanted to put some in my own just so that it doesn't die on the vine. Although it wouldn't count anyway. Alright, so I'm gonna give... Man. Super Mario Maker, the online is dead though. So I'm gonna give... I think Chrono Trigger's gonna get enough. I'll give 1 to Chrono. I'll give 2 to Chrono, 1 to Myst, and 3 to Mega Man X. Maybe I should have done 3 Chrono, 2 Mega Man X, but it's too late now. Okay, bye.
By the way, Kira Toriyama thing, it's just a joke. Gotta give it to that. Chrono Trigger is one of the greats. Despite it being Kyle Bossman, despite it not being Superior Silver, this game, Pokemon, is a classic. Can't say no to that. This one's the hardest one. Last one. Between GTA 3 and Mega Man X. Zero died for this. We're done.
Alright, what's up everybody? Okay.
I don't know if you've noticed in the past, I don't want to be all high and mighty, but I find a lot of times I come in here for Hall of Greats, and I end up putting my 3 chips into a game I did not pick, and I will continue that trend tonight. I will be placing my first place pick, and I will be putting 3 chips into Pokemon Red and Blue.
I think it's amazing, downright incredible what that game did first out of the gate, what that established, and certainly it was successful enough for people to be playing it for many, many years to come. I feel strongly about my choice that I brought. And you know, Ian brought up, you know, emotional reasons why he is attached to Myst. GTA 3 was the first game I ever captured, last game I ever played at GT. One of the last games I ever played really co-op with when I lived with roommates, before I lived by myself, and then eventually with the woman I would eventually grow to marry. So 2 votes for Grand Theft Auto 3. And then as special as a selection as Myst is, as fun as I had in Skyrim, obviously as fun as Streets of Rage is, as easy to learn and use as Mario Maker is, as wonderful as Journey is, not putting this in Journey hurts a lot. But Chrono Trigger is just incredible. So, 3rd place, Chrono Trigger. That's my vote. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Okay. Ian Hink had absolutely, in my opinion, the best argument. I love that video. It was informative, it was intelligent, and it was personal. I don't care about Myst at all, and I thought he did a great job. I think he should publish that video to YouTube. So, one of my chips is going to Myst. The next game for me is Grand Theft Auto 3. I don't think there is maybe a game on here that caused as much impact as GTA 3. I spent so many hours wandering that world and just being absolutely amazed at the things that I could do. It is an open world experience that I think will always stick with me. Grand Theft Auto 3 gets 2 of them. Last but not least, Chrono Trigger. That is a game that, when I think about it, it is hard to think about things to criticize. I rack my brain with it. It is... I've played a lot of RPGs. I've played a lot of them. I love them. It's my favorite genre. I don't think I've played an RPG that is better than Chrono Trigger, in my opinion. That gets my 3 votes. And that's right here.
Hello, chat. I don't even know. Do I fit? Oh, cool. I can see that I can fit. Okay. This is slightly weird. Yeah, I think I'm going to give my number 1 or 3 one chip into Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon is just, it's iconic. There's so much behind Pokemon, and the creatures, the characters, the battle systems, the crazy fact that there's 2 versions, and you can trade with people and all that. It's pretty phenomenal. Definitely gonna put my money where my mouth is on Journey. So again, it's timeless, it's beautiful. It's one of those games where, like, no matter where the technology goes, I think that game can have just as much impact 10 years from now as it did when it came out. And then the 3 chips, the big one, going into Chrono Trigger. Really hard to find things bad to say about that game. So much of what Brad said was great, but I gotta give specific props to the encounter with Magus. Just the shot outside the castle, and then the moment you walk into Magus' chamber and you have that fight and that music starts up. It's really, really crazy and eerie. And the music in the Kingdom of Zeal. Okay.
Hey everybody. This was not easy for me. First of all, my three werehugs have to go to Chrono Trigger. Not just a great game that I care about, but Brad made a good case. Next, my 2 werehogs. These are never going to Journey. That was just a horrible case made for them. They're going to Pokemon. Love Pokemon. Truly believe it is one of the greats. I would rank Chrono Trigger above that. And I'll be honest with you, it's between Mega Man X and Super Mario Maker.
Ben did a really good speech, but so did Don. I kind of like what Don's speech was about. The passion of Don. And I like Super Mario Maker. Is it one of the greats, though? Mega Man X was one of the greats. I feel like I was at a jury. Yeah.
All right, alone at last, as it were. So, a lot of good choices tonight. This is difficult, as with all the weeks. This week is different, though. As you'll know, every week I have not voted number one for my own game, but this time I can truly say that Super Mario Maker is my first choice. Part of my decisions, a good portion is historical context, but a good portion is if I was stuck on a desert island and I could only choose any of these games today, which would I choose to play? So Super Mario Maker is my number one choice, okay? Number two choice. This is really tough. Now, I'm going to have to give it to GTA 3. Vice City was better, and obviously 5 and all that, but GTA 3 historically, nothing here compares to it. That was truly a watershed moment in gaming, and even though it's true, a lot of the refinements that even happened in Vice City made it way more fun to play, GTA 3 today, I would still play quite a bit if I was forced to choose. That's my number two choice. Number three, between Mega Man X and Streets of Rage 2, very hard choice. These are both excellent. I own both of these and I play them regularly, but Streets of Rage 2, you cannot compare. I probably play it every couple months, just infinite replayability. If I was stuck with one game, I could play it a lot. I'm going to give Streets of Rage 2 my last vote, also because it has the 3D version, which is excellent. Shout out to Myst. It's an excellent game. Very nice memories of it also, as Ian brought up. But playing it today is just not as fun. Okay.
What's up, chat? So my main criteria for specifically Hologreats, not video games in general, for Hologreats though, is do these games hold up today? Do they? So for my 1 point vote, I'm going to give it to GTA 3 because I still think the other ones hold up better, but GTA 3 still holds up and it has a legacy. The legacy does matter. For 2 points, gotta give it to my own. I am sorry. Streets of Rage 2 has never been surpassed in the beat 'em up genre. Peak, pinnacle, Streets of Rage 2. Cannot get better. Show me a better beat 'em up after Streets of Rage 2. 3 votes. Is it a surprise? Chrono Trigger, the masterpiece, the JRPG masterpiece. That's it. Those are the votes. Lock them in. All right, we are done. Lock them in.
Lock 'em in.
Lock them in.
Alright, don't turn chat on yet. Don't turn chat on yet. Damiani, you can't see chat yet. So everyone gets their
But
own
do you want
bag.
me to switch the camera shot or
Switch to main cam.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone come and grab your
We all grab our
bags. Grab your own bag.
Is that for real?
Lunch is ready.
Grab your bag.
Feeling pretty heavy there, Brad? Yeah. Feeling a little heavy?
Heavy bag.
Yeah. Heavy bag there?
Feeling a little heavy.
It's definitely getting
Feeling bountiful.
Come on, Cam here, Damiani.
So we go back in order?
Sure.
Yeah, Damiani, what are you doing? Get over here.
In normal order?
Yep.
Front order?
So that means me first?
Yeah.
Count them up,
Okay.
Huber.
Count them up. Somebody saved my ass. I put 2 of my own in here, and we have 2 more.
Wow.
So that is 4
Nice.
for Streets of Rage 2. Live to fight another day.
Who is next?
here.
Don.
Donnie.
I will also live to see another day. I put 3 chips in, and there are 3 more, so 6.
Wow.
Oh,
Nice.
What?
No, those don't count.
No.
Wait, what?
Those don't count. Only the werehogs.
Why would we put 3
To
of
weigh them
these?
down. To weigh the bags down. We talked about
One would have been enough.
Crush.
2 brutal. 2
Mario Maker is banned for
That's another one banned.
We're gonna have to find better
my
weights.
bets this week. I thought I was hedging my bets this week.
Oh, no.
I think it's safe to say. Oh, never mind. I don't want to be negative. Keep it rolling.
How Bossman.
Okay. We got a bunch in here, actually. Here we go.
Jeez.
Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for Pokemon Red and Blue.
Nice.
Nice.
This is so stressful.
This is so stressful.
Daniel Bloodworth.
All right, let's. So. Oh, I put 2 in, and that's it.
Journey is
Game of the year.
The Gambit did not pay off.
Holy moly.
Ben Moore.
This is brutal.
This is very brutal.
All right, Ben Moore, what do
All
you
right.
I knew I wasn't getting calls, but it's from his reaction. But
I did not put any in myself.
Ooh.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow.
Lost out to Pokemon.
All right.
Really?
See how
7?
GTA does.
That's right.
Okay.
I put in 2 myself, and thankfully have found some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow.
whoa,
Right
tied.
underneath. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. What do we do for a tiebreaker?
It won't matter. If,
yeah,
it's only
Yeah,
getting take it in. So you gotta find out.
We had a tie our first ever time, Jones. It actually goes to Patreon.
All right.
Patreon
Yeah.
decides it breaks the tie.
Who's next?
Just so I can bring it back
I
soon.
just
Michael
can't
Damiani.
figure out where everybody put their votes.
I
The
don't
history's
remember.
killing me.
Negative.
Zero.
Skyrim is
All right,
banned.
Skyrim's out.
Oh,
For
my
you.
God.
We're such hosers. People love Skyrim.
It's fine.
But it's art. It couldn't get one vote. Man.
Now they can World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Ian really sold it.
Ian Hank.
All right. Well, let's see how it paid off. Mist is banned. No, wait. Did I put in 2 or 1? Did someone put 1 in?
It's helpful to remember.
I put 1 in for Ian.
There you go.
All right, you go.
I only
All
put
right,
1
good,
in, but I was
okay.
like,
Still
still
in
in,
it, baby.
Still in it.
I got 2.
Still alive.
Also, don't make videos for your entry. Not worth
Because
it.
it's tough.
You got
There's no-
one. You got
Not
one.
worth it.
I put it in because I thought you had the best
I
argument.
love the video.
Thank you.
But think about how that could potentially bolster the next
Bolster.
person.
Is that a red card?
Oh,
No.
Who, you know, the next person who brings up Miss will remember that video.
Video for Jurassic
So.
Park.
It's an ongoing
Yeah, your
conversation,
video got you nothing either.
an ongoing process. And Brad Ellis wrapping the whole thing up.
Oh, okay. Okay, jeez.
Yeah.
Bountiful
All of them.
feast.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
So it's Pokemon and Chrono
1,
Trigger.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Rack them up.
Oh my god.
How many did Pokemon get?
8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh.
Feels good.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21.
Wow.
All enough to drink, baby.
All enough to drink.
So, such a spread?
It got a lot of 3s. Is what
A lot of
means.
3s.
Yeah.
So that means that it's Chrono Trigger and
Pokemon Red and Blue.
RPG night.
I mean, it would have to get almost 7
That
threes.
runoff. I can't.
Jeez.
Easy Allies, thank you for getting Pokemon into the Hall of Greats. That means something to me.
That's
Thank
the
you.
only Pokemon game ever making it.
Yeah, that's all I want. That's the
Yeah,
only
that's
one I
it.
want
You
in.
did it, baby.
I'm good.
21 out of 27 possible max.
Who put in for Pokemon, or is that a secret?
Wasn't me.
I did.
I know.
Pokemon was my number
Wasn't
1.
me.
I put 3.
I know
I
you
put
did
3.
not.
I gave you one.
Thank you, bud. Thank you.
I gave you one.
I had to
Safe.
Thank you.
You can if you want to.
Kyle's like
upset that Mega Man got 7. I don't
No,
understand.
I put in for Mega Man.
Okay.
It was between
All
Mega
right.
Man X and Mario Maker.
All right,
I was having the hardest time.
We're good, bro.
I think,
I gave one to
I
Mega
think my
Man.
3 was Mega Man. My
I
2
gave one to
was
Mega
Chrono.
Man.
I always feel so torn. Can we talk about this? I actually have a legit question.
Yeah.
Because like when I bring a game to the Hall of Greats, like I always want to vote for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there's so many to pick from that like I'm kind of relying on my argument to get the other votes, and I should use my votes for other people. Like it's weird, and it always feels weird. When I don't vote for myself, I feel weird. When I do vote for myself, I feel weird.
Yeah.
I feel especially weird when my votes like don't count from it not getting banned. Like it's just a little weird.
Yeah, Ben, I've had this. I think this is the biggest struggle with the Hall of Greats. I've made this argument many times in the past. Because in the past, this is the first time I actually voted for mine as number 1. In the past, my vote for my own has always been 3rd place.
Yeah.
Because other people present games that I'm just like undeniably that if you stack them next to each other,
Right.
that has
Like
to be
Chrono
better.
Trigger. Yeah.
But like that's why I've suggested in the past if we remove us from being able to vote for our own games, to me, I don't know, in my mind it feels like that would make it more fair because then there's just no individual bias. You're only voting for the other games. You know what I'm saying? It takes you completely out of the equation. So there's no, because in the past I think people have voted maybe for their own game as number 1. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just because they want for sure to try to win, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever made the difference,
But also,
I think,
changing the rules in
You
that
should
kind of
do it.
serious way at this point is probably not a good idea. So you know.
Year 2.
But
Yeah,
year 2.
Yeah,
Year 2.
Year 2.
I've struggled
I mean, it
with
looks
that
like
every
Chad
week. That's
agrees,
like
too.
really hard to decide.
Yeah, I mean, we could try it next time.
Yeah.
Why not?
I guess like imagine Brad brought Chrono Trigger and then all of the rest of us brought Skyrim. We would force Brad to put chips into a Skyrim bag, even if he doesn't believe it.
But
That's
that
all-
like,
yeah,
not everybody
I-
can bring
I
Skyrim.
didn't-
Everybody has to
I
bring a
didn't
different
think of
game.
it that
Yeah,
way,
yeah, yeah.
Kyle. Though you're right. I
So-
didn't think of it that way.
I mean, if you hate all games, then maybe we add the option to abstain by voting for your nothing.
I kind of like
Ooh, that'd
both.
be too brutal.
Yeah, maybe
I like it either way.
Yeah, maybe.
Damiani would do it every time.
I just don't think I don't think it's likely to happen though, because like we've always done a good job of bringing actually good games.
Yeah, I like it either way because sometimes I've not voted or voted like 1 for my game.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like tonight, I was like really passionate and I truly believe in the game I brought. So it's like I'm gonna give it a little more.
Yeah.
So I think either way is good.
The argument for being able to vote for your own is, I think that you should be able to look at all 9 and weigh honestly and objectively the order that you think the best games in this 9 are. But the competition aspect of it does sway that. So I could see not voting for yourself.
Next
too.
time we will not open our own bags. It's simply too cruel. Damiani, that was a rude thing to think of.
What?
No, we all had to open our own bags, dude.
I was the one who got no
we're all
votes at
getting
all.
sports
What are you
about
talking
We're
about?
all
So we
getting
gonna
sports
do
about
it?
it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Kyle?
How many games were
0
banned
votes.
tonight?
How many? Yeah, how many
Yeah,
were
which
banned?
3?
games are banned? Journey, Mario Maker.
And
Mario Maker was
Skyrim?
banned?
Skyrim.
I know.
Skyrim was banned.
Crazy.
For a year. For a year.
For a year.
Crazy.
Which means
4
more Hall of Greats. So 2019 it can try again.
No, I think it
Q1.
means, I think it means three, and then on the 4th
On
you
that
can
4th?
bring it back.
Okay.
Are there 3 a year or 4 a year?
4 a
4
year.
a year.
For you, baby.
We did 4 this year.
So yeah, okay. End of 2018, those games can come back. That's nuts.
Hey, we got a present.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Present
Or is
time.
Alright, so let's go over all the games in the Hall of Greats right now.
There's an easy way to see the
Yeah,
old
there
ones.
is. There's an easy way to go do
You
it.
can go
How do
to
you do it?
hallofgreats.com. Currently, it points to the beautiful forum post. I want to make sure I get the name right of who made it.
Nah.
I pulled it up here.
Oh, sure. What about the red cards, yellow cards? Those were just jokes.
Yeah, we're just joking.
Made by Ed
We're joking.
Sortiz or Ed Sortitz.
Ed Ortiz.
Ed Sortiz.
Yeah, Eduardo Ortiz.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. That person made a beautiful forum entry, and I bought hallofgreats.com, and it points right to that forum link. I was kind of making a website, but I honestly, I think this page has everything that, we want on it, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, they've got the previous 3 groups on there, and they are Metal Gear Solid 1, Super Metroid, Super Mario 64, Super Street Fighter 2, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Woo! So-
Joining them tonight, Chrono Trigger and Pokemon Red and Blue.
The box art is Street Fighter 2, and I think that's what won, but it says Super Street Fighter on there. Because Bloodworth nominated Street Fighter 2. And
it wasn't as specific.
It was the Royal Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
The Royal Edition.
That's not allowed for any
The
other
Royal
game.
Edition.
Yeah, that's not... Okay.
All right,
If you haven't
doesn't
played it,
matter.
get good.
Blood, we'll make you submit one definitive Street Fighter 2.
Turbo.
It should be two turbo, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, either way.
I did
Thank
have
you
to
for
laugh
making
at
that.
that collection coming out that has 12 games that are Street Fighter 1 to 3.
And it is funny, they are all Japanese.
Are you
games.
getting it?
What's up?
That Street Fighter collection?
I think we're all getting that collection.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
pretty
good at
sick.
fighting games, but it's like so good.
I mean, it's just cool
There's
that
a Street Fighter
it
collection?
exists.
Yeah.
Like,
Feels like a respect purchase.
it's a
Yeah,
historical
Out
document.
of respect, yeah.
It's
It's
something you're not
history.
going to purchase
It's
an
an
historical
obligation.
It's going in a
document.
museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that question too, Minimic. Pokemon Red and Blue is 2 games.
If I have to pick one, we'll put blue in. If it's got to be one of the two.
Okay.
We'll
Because
put
Kyle
blue spots.
hates
gonna call
Charizard.
that I was going to call that up during the cross-examination.
Yeah, I actually consider making the speech just about Pokemon Blue. I mean, they're two parts of the same game.
Yeah, I don't.
I also got some homemade sugar cookies.
What?
Made by Amanda Troop, along with
shit.
some. She took some citrus rinds and sugared them. They were very tasty.
Whoa, dude.
I was like,
Citrus
Jones,
rind.
I'll give you any. He's like,
No, orange
Dude,
rind, a little
Give me
cinnamon.
this.
Jones is so happy and I love it.
Cookie.
I do think it should be red and blue.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
So
Amanda!
like, in the thing, just put the two box arts next to each other, I guess?
Sure.
Okay.
Whoa.
No, this
my
this stuff's
God.
important. It's the Hall of Greats.
Well, you should have picked
But I
And it
mean-
evolves.
The thing with Street
Evolves,
Fighter 2, the reason that I didn't go with a particular version wasn't just because of all of the different arcade releases. It was because Street Fighter 2 was a phenomenon. Like, cross arcades, consoles, everything, you know?
What is this, House of Leaves?
These are like my favorite kinds of cookies.
These are good cookies. Greetings from Norway, allies. So, last Christmas, my brother showed me a little video featuring a certain Michael Huber at E3. And things escalated very quickly after that.
Thank you for doing that, Huber.
I can't believe I didn't know about you before, but after that first video, I've pretty much watched or listened to you every single day since. Your positivity, excitement, and creativity is always inspiring and entertaining, and I honestly can't praise you all enough for what you do. And so I wanted to show my appreciation and in some way. And since I'm sort of a freelance baker, among other things, and one way I've gotten through countless hours of baking is accompanied by your podcasts and streams, I had to make you something. Since it is also Christmas again, I've tried to make some video game-inspired gingerbread cookies. I don't know if you have some qualms about eating homemade food. Unfortunately, we do. But
gotta show 'em.
But if so, they can also double as Christmassy decorations.
Nice.
Which I'm happy about. I've tried to include some stuff from games I believe you all like, and nothing is very specifically for anyone, except the ones with the green ribbon, which I had to make for Kyle after a recent great stream. Also, sorry for the insane packaging. I've never shipped anything like this before, and my research told me this was the safest way, so I hope they survived the trip. All the way, gingerbread cookies all the way from Norway, fingers crossed. Anyways, love you all, love and respect. Ingsy, Instagram it on Instagram. That's an interesting name. Instagram it. Instagram with an MET at the end. Yes.
And I want to give a cool shout out to Croton, who just gifted a sub to Darkest Dame. I think it's cool when people do that.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
That's very cool.
So
That's
cool.
cool.
And there was lots of chatting to do about our own stuff in the process of what we're doing tonight, and we have definitely missed some subs, so thank you for...
Yeah, we missed a lot of
Yeah,
subs.
at the beginning.
Thank you for subbing everybody.
So thank you for subbing and resubbing
Talkie
tonight.
streams, unfortunately.
All of
don't-
grades
don't
can
get
be a
to
little
make
sticky
shout-outs.
that way. But here we
I'm
go. Gingerbread time.
truly grateful about Pokemon getting in. I'm so stoked.
Don't look at me when you, because I didn't give you.
Don't
mine.
rub
I
it
feel
in.
like
So, thank
we've
them.
like
I didn't give you one.
increased
Yeah.
the size of your heart tonight.
I know, because normally I get owned at Hall of Greats. Okay.
Just rub it in.
I'm
Rub it in,
stoked.
Kyle.
I
Appreciate it.
You have a glow.
I've got a glow.
You got a glow.
Just ride
He's got
this.
a glow.
I'm
Ride
emotional
this.
right now.
High in the
Choosing the
new
right
year,
game
baby.
is like 90% of the
Rub it in.
For sure, you're right.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me, Kyle.
at me.
Instagram.
Ooh,
That's
it's packaging.
Oh, is it like a house we gotta put together?
I don't know. There's
Okay.
a lot going on.
Kyle gloating. Meanwhile, games are banned for a year.
Yeah, have some sensitivity, Kyle. Thank you, Ben, by the way.
Yeah.
Saved missed. Yeah.
No,
Saved
I
missed.
thought
I
you had
won't
the best
bring it
argument.
again, guys. Don't worry.
Hey man, I've been there.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you know what? It's not about the votes. It's about the games. It's about what you believe in.
It is.
It's about what you believe in.
It's about what you believe.
Did Dark Souls get banned?
I didn't vote for Pokemon Red
wow.
and Blue, but
Oh my
it is
goodness,
my
this is gonna
favorite.
take a while to open all this
Yeah,
stuff.
we haven't played that many.
Oh, they are like
I
decorations.
played a lot. I played X and Y. I played Diamond.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Nice.
Played Sun.
I'm like the
You
main
did?
guy's
Yeah.
mom's friend's
What? Played a lot of Pokemon, dude.
Zill.
Handheld?
Mm-hmm. It's like one of the only handheld games I play.
Oh.
Oh, that's so cool!
Whoa!
I was like, what
Saw
is the
cleaver,
real-
baby.
So this is gonna
That's great.
This is gonna take a little bit. These
Very
are extremely
cool, very
delicate.
Does
Here,
it
maybe-
transform?
That is very cool. Should we all try to help here?
Yeah, maybe.
So Jones, you said this is from a baker?
Yes.
Yep.
Very cool.
I see.
And
mine.
I have their Instagram name. Oh, Ingse, INGSE.
Nope.
So I do not
Nope,
know
the other thing.
how you can find that person here on Twitch,
That's probably a good Instagram to follow, though.
but
huh?
Instagram it. Is their name on Instagram?
Played some of that Doki Doki. I don't know what the deal is.
Doki Doki.
Don't spoil. Please, please
no
don't
one
say
spoil.
anything.
Yeah, don't spoil it. Just be patient.
Okay.
Doki Doki
I'll
Literature
keep
Club.
playing it. No one's saying anything.
Do you think it's empty past that point?
Different?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. There's another saw.
Nice.
So
Two
cool.
saws.
Does anyone here have a tree at home?
Yes.
No.
Right, you
tree
should
right
take some.
there.
I got a tree. I got a real tree, dude.
Ooh,
Oh, that's so
Praise
cool.
that
it,
is
bro.
awesome. That's for Huber.
Praise it for
Hardcore.
Huber.
That's for Huber.
Here, I'll take one saw cleaver and you can take the other.
Yeah, here's the other one. You can
And they're
just
nice
leave
too
it
because they're
back.
fragrant. So if
Nice.
you put them on your tree,
So
bring
there's
a little bit of-
duplicates, so we only need to open one.
yeah,
per
the back
pack.
row wants to get started on that puppy.
Be
Crack it.
careful.
Yeah.
It might be the same.
How jolly.
Oh wait, no, these are different.
Yeah.
So different.
I thought they were the same.
So different.
So different.
Shoot.
Can you make
There we go. We got it. We got it. We're getting it.
Slow and steady.
We got it.
What was the Hall of Greats song earlier?
the one we were singing at the beginning?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, look great. Something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. Can you take me?
All the way.
Oh, yeah.
Can you give me some votes?
I gotta bring Mario. What about those
Miles been on a real
controls?
Monster ballads.
Let's
Can you
see.
take it all the
Oh,
way?
hunters.
Why is this
Okay,
campaign?
More soul
Oh, nice.
for everybody.
That's the header's back.
Oh,
There are
one more.
so many.
Here's a one up.
The million cookies.
Oh man, these are sick.
Dude, that Hyrule
Is that Kingdom Hearts?
Hylian shield is legit.
Yeah.
It really is.
Was
We
it?
have a tree.
Looks like Kingdom
Oh,
Hearts, maybe?
nice.
Oh yeah, Jones does have a tree.
I got one for Kyle here.
With the green ribbon.
The green ribbon's cow specifically.
There's the green ribbon.
Here's one.
Oh, Portal,
companion
Companion Cube.
cube.
Oh,
Nice.
Give that to Huber.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
a
for
great
Huber.
one.
Weighted companion cube.
There's so many.
there's so many.
This one's the same,
Another
right?
one up.
Here, you open these
Yeah,
and
so
work
I guess
on
they are
these.
duplicates.
Pass them
Yeah,
around.
they're duplicates.
Chet's got a good question. Can we spray them to preserve them?
I don't know, but here you
Do
go,
you have
Kyle.
to? Yeah.
You think
Why
you-
not? Polyurethane.
Are we opening them all? Even if they do?
Just
Yo.
open one of each.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No dupes.
Yo, these ones are bigger.
Wait, yes or no?
No dupes.
Do not open the dupes.
Okay.
Something's going on here.
Not of ascertained.
Here you go, Kyle.
Nice.
Oh,
That's really cool.
This is so cute.
Show it
Okay, I
up.
have to show the camera this. Paper fucking
Oh,
Mario.
Yeah, that's adorable.
Oh, okay. I
gotta
really
take- you
want
gotta
this
take that
one.
home.
Yeah.
Here, hand it to Kyle. You can show it.
Yeah, I'll
Unless
take
you want.
Look at this pile. Look at
really
this.
Lovely gift
Jones.
boxes as well.
Jones.
Yeah, baby.
Ah,
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, Batman.
Oh, it's so good.
I
That
don't want
one.
to eat these.
I don't want to eat
I dare
this.
you.
Yeah, you,
We're
I
not
don't
allowed
think
to.
we're
We
good.
don't do that anymore.
I mean,
they're like beautiful art.
You can't eat baked goods from
You're right.
from gift boxes, sir.
There wasn't, but there easily could be.
Ian with the rainbow.
Intentional or
And
not.
then the dude.
Oh,
Wait, I don't
Don!
think I saw them.
Very cool.
This looks like a
Black flag.
Another band.
kunai knife or something.
That one's banned as well.
It's just an actual
not
knife.
banned. It's not banned. Because it's before we introduced that rule.
Oh,
Live another
let's
day.
consult the website. At HoloGreats.com.
Kunai.
At least I got one
bat
win.
symbol
That's
in
good.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah, doubles.
Damiani-
Oh no! It might, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Damiani broke his
Give that one to
streak.
Kyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Kyle should take this one.
Yeah.
Damiani tanked.
He did
I
good.
watched an episode of
Willfully tanked.
Mysteries at the Museum. It's one of my favorite shows on Travel Channel.
Yeah.
It was about the history of bubble wrap. It was actually really cool.
Nice.
How they
That
invented
sounds
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
You saying museum
Never
just makes me
see
think about
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
so good.
Give it to Kyle.
Frame this.
You gotta take that home, Kyle.
Yeah.
What out of all the things you could have picked, this is a very
Yeah, that's
good
really
one.
good.
Yeah. You are an artiste.
Whoa.
It's got a stick coming out?
We have a
Oh, sorry, Kyle.
little gingerbread beastly. You gotta know. Look, you gotta know beastly.
There's like 3 Beastlies.
Can you show this one
I
up?
think.
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
Persona
legit.
5?
I think this is the
Yeah.
yeah.
Check his
There's
mask.
like different Beastly characters.
Dang, that's sick.
Take it all away.
Wait, are the beastlies different faces here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want them?
Yeah, we're gonna have to unwrap those beastlies.
Is it the whole
Boom.
game?
Yeah. Jones, you can open the next box.
No, don't do.
Yeah, open the.
That is from Sony.
Oh.
That's a little Christmas present from Sony.
Oh yeah, we don't care about that.
These like different teams.
Is it a good presentation?
What?
That's a joke. That's the joke.
That's the
That's oh, I got to see the rest of these.
Oh yeah, there's some good ones up here.
Look at that way.
Wow.
Take them if you like.
Ainsley, thank you so much.
Thank you for sending
This
these.
is,
Oh,
yeah, these are
Super
intense.
Pikachu.
And amazingly, they all arrived.
Oh, there is Surfing Pikachu already? Shoot.
Very well made.
That's okay.
Here's one an
How
unopened.
dare you, Hubert?
Here's an unopened Pikachu.
Huber hates Pikachu.
That's a move,
dude.
right? You surf. I don't hate Pikachu.
Yeah, so you suddenly hate Pikachu.
I don't hate Pikachu. It's one of the
from
best.
Pokemon Yellow.
I love the OG Pokemon. Original 150.
152?
2.
151.
151
But I
plus
only mentioned
Mewtwo.
150 in the speech because Mew you had to go to a mall to get.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Like
152.
a real life mall?
Like a real life mall.
Pokemon Red and Blue are the
Mewtwo?
best.
Is he
That would,
150?
if you had mentioned that,
Yes,
it
he's
would have
150.
tanked it.
I know. You gotta be careful about what you bring up.
That's Mewtwo. Mewtwo, dude.
Man, HoloGreats is depressing. He's so intense.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
He's so emotionally draining.
Ride that high.
Assassione!
We already had one.
Assassino.
Duplicate.
Yeah, the Black Flag one too.
Yeah.
Wait, where's third beast?
Kenway. Edward
There
Kenway.
he is.
Dupe. Sorry.
Anyway.
Dupes. You got the dupes?
And then Clancy's got a dude.
You guys remember Assassin's Creed 3? The beginning when you find out you're not an assassin.
Damiani.
Why are you throwing shade on
I
assassins?
don't remember
Assassin's
that.
Creed 3.
That's
When you're really a Templar.
Is Instagram
He's
it?
throwing on 3.
3, I guess that's okay then.
Okay.
3's the worst.
Yeah, you know it's okay.
3's the worst.
So that's it, Chance? That's like,
That is it. We just had that one present for today.
Yay!
Thank you so much for sending that in.
What a present.
That was awesome.
Instagram it on Instagram. And that is the 4th Hall of Greats induction ceremony. That is your 8 Hall of Great games for the year of 2017. We will be back in March, possibly. Maybe around anniversary time, doing another Hall of
Oh,
Greats.
January, February, March. Sure. Okay.
All right.
Oh,
So-
that's too much for a month, dude.
I know. You got to hold them to it. You got to pressure boss.
Because
You
we
got to
actually
remind them
did
to
we
make it
did
happen.
4 to December. We actually went over 1 month.
Yeah, we might need to do it during whatever anniversary stream.
Oh,
Do
God.
it part of the
Oh,
stream.
that'd be fun in the
Okay.
middle of a marathon.
Sure.
And then yeah, that'd be okay. That would work.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, March 2018, we will return to this list. We will not be returning to Skyrim, but we will be picking 9 more games to discuss.
Or Mario Maker.
Yeah.
I almost
I
voted
wonder
for
when.
it.
When does
I
WoW come
wish
back? I guess
had.
like around the middle of next year.
I gave a shout out to Miss.
I gave a shout out to Mario Maker.
I will vote for WoW
That
next
was
time,
so
Jones.
good.
Your time is
Shout
coming.
out.
This is good practice because we'll be gathering next month to pick our favorite games of 2017, and it's never an easy thing. You can just kind of get a sense of just how raw it
Yeah, if you
feels.
thought this was intense,
To
try
expose
Goaties.
yourself.
Goaties.
And the people you care about, talking about your deepest, darkest
Yeah, I'm not
feelings.
voting.
You
and
have to
things.
vote!
Not voting. No, I already know my goodies.
Well, there you go. You
One
already
year
got
Huber
those
didn't
locked down.
vote.
Yeah, why
And
we
it
even talk?
sucked.
One year I didn't vote because I didn't need to. It was Witcher and Bloodborne.
It was tied.
Yeah, you needed
You were
to.
absolutely
No,
required
it was
to vote.
Bloodborne took it.
Yeah, but you didn't.
Even if I had voted for Witcher, Bloodborne would have taken it. I swear. That's why I did not
I don't
vote.
think that's
No matter
correct.
what.
I think if you voted, it would have tied.
It would not have.
I think that's what the scenario
No,
was.
I promise. If my vote mattered, I would have voted.
It mattered.
It did not. It did not.
It did not.
It did not. How do you vote for The Witcher and Bloodborne? Come on now.
Bloodborne.
You pick one. We got to cut this off before things get off the rails.
Wits it. We're all.
What else?
I'm not my wits.
Damiani saying something. What? Oh, yeah, we are. You say something about Patreon? I don't know.
Yeah.
We are supported on Patreon. Patreon.com/EasyAllies. That's where you can go to primarily support us. We also appreciate everybody subbing and resubbing, obviously, here on Twitch. That is definitely a substantial amount that continues to support us month by month. You can also check out EasyAllies.com if you want to look up the schedule of where you can expect the rest of our streams and shows to happen. And you can go and find us on YouTube, Easy Allies, and Easy Allies Plays, which is where Hall of Greats will go to live, correct? Or does that go on the main channel?
The Hall of Greats goes on the main channel. I can't remember. I think I might still put it on both. I have to look and see what we've done
Like,
before.
don't put this stuff on the main channel. You know?
Where's the Mini Mist Retro going? Is that going to be on the main channel?
on the main
I'll take a
channel
look and see what I did
tonight.
before.
Okay.
And there will be more streams. Is anybody streaming tomorrow? What's
I
happening
am.
tomorrow.
I'm playing Okami HD.
Excellent.
PS4 version at 2 p.m. Pacific.
I saw chat suggesting that for a future Hall of Greats.
It's gonna be
See if
sweet.
somebody brings that someday. Now,
it's-
you played Chrono Trigger, and then you brought that. We'll see if Okami's the next game.
It's not scheduled yet, but I am trying to stream both Resident Evil 7 DLCs here on Sunday with Kyle Bossman and anyone else who wants to join. Tentatively planned for Sunday afternoon around 3 or 4 o'clock. It is not 100% locked in because I have some family coming over this weekend, so I got to figure that out. But tentatively, pencil in Sunday afternoon.
Pork Rind Overlord, thank you.
Great name.
And when all of those streams are archived, those go to Easy Allies Plays. Most of our Twitch stuff winds up there, so there's multiple places you can go check our stuff out. But obviously, patreon.com/EasyAllies. Thank you to everybody supporting us there that continues to do so. We only have a couple more group streams left in 2017, so it's been a heck of a year, and we would not be here, we would not be able to gather and yell at each other over all amazing games and say that one game that's amazing is better than another game that's amazing. All of this happens because you support us, and we love all of you. So thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.